Christmas. You can see into the back of the neighborhood through that field. Somebody had Christmas lights in their front yard. That's pretty neat. Snowman and a tree. They still have their Christmas tree up. Good luck for them after the first. Joe changed his lights. The other night I came by here, they were green. What's this? No blinker. Watch. Watch this no blinker. See? No blinker. Just fucking whip it next time. I don't even want to go into no headlights. In no kind of way. I'll wait right here. Well, then I gotta wait on another one. Damn it. They blinded me. I can't see. Shit. Well, they were in a goddamn hurry to turn on Bane. Christmas. You know, on this camera, those Christmas lights going around that patio, They really do not show what you can see with your regular eye. And another one's gonna fucking run me down. See these bright ass lights? So I can't even fucking see because of that dumb shit. Make it fucking accessible. Sound like an ambulance. Kitty, kitty, kitty. That's strange as hell, man. Come up here Saturday night. It's just almost 10, right? And there'll be nobody here. The whole family's here. We live.
We are?
There ain't nobody, 2 people just now, all the way up here. Ain't nobody.
YouTube or TikTok?
YouTube.
Hey, YouTube.
Alibaba.
Ali, look at it. Sean, we the best.
Is mom over there?
Yeah.
Is that mom?
Yeah.
Who's this?
That's Sonny. Sonny with the money.
Hey, Sonny.
Who's your live? Who's live?
I don't know, man. Let me see.
What's up, chat?
In Woke Sanity.
What's up, chat?
What's up, In Woke Sanity?
What's up, chat?
I met him from another chat. Yeah, I come up here to get some cigarettes, Ali.
What's up, chat?
Hey, we get some more crowns in?
I did.
All right. I was going to get the route if you didn't know.
2?
Yeah, I want to get 2. You know, it might get real cold and I might not be able to get back up here, man.
You back on them skates, though.
Well.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. The bearings are about shot and I need to rotate wheels. I need to get new wheels. These look like pears.
Oh, I like your hat. SpaceX. You know we're about to go back to the moon since the 60s,
That's
right?
what I heard about it.
Supposedly, but we never
Artemis,
been on
well,
there.
they're going to send some people and they're going to orbit and come back.
We ain't never been on the moon.
Yeah, we have.
It was all a shot in Hollywood.
No, it wouldn't.
Who filmed them? Who
They
filmed
filmed
them coming down?
Nobody filmed coming down.
There was supposedly a video, right, of him landing on the moon. Who filmed it?
If he's landing on the moon and ain't nobody been there, how you gonna film it?
Then how he was the first one and somebody was filming it? It's supposedly filmed.
Not the landing. It filmed from the capsule out the window.
From the landing.
Yeah, out the window of the capsule. Out the window of the lunar module. Don't believe nobody tell you that shit's fake. They went up there at the cheapest, goddamn, most quickest. There ain't no instruction book. They told that electronics guy, hey, I need this circuit and I need it right now. He went and built the fucking circuit, they put it in. If it didn't work, they told him, hey, I need this circuit, build it now. They didn't write no instruction book. That shit was a rush job. As easy and safe as they could do it. That little lunar module wasn't even 16 foot tall, man. It was little.
I built all the files.
Don't believe that shit you hear, that modern day crap. That modern day shit on the internet. Half the people saying that shit wasn't even alive when it happened. Who is this? Nobody of any ill repute. I'm gonna go down here and sit. I'm gonna tell you that. That's a lie. Somebody says, oh, it was fake. They're a fake. Oh man, I had to get out of the house. What's up, Inwoke Sanity? You're like me, man. Got nothing better to do with fucking power use YouTube. Like all day long. I had to get out of my house of squalor. I've been out of cigarettes all day, man, and I just like been roughing it, talking about you don't need a cigarette. And too damn lazy to get out in that cold air. It's quiet up here on a Saturday night, man. I mean, he's got half his family. They got half their family up here. But I mean, as far as local, like the neighborhood I come from, there's like about 500 houses back there. It's like a 2x2 neighborhood. The highway, man, it goes to town. It's like 6 miles to town. And then you're on the south side of town. You're not in downtown. And for a Saturday night like this, and not have anybody out of this neighborhood back here coming to get cigarettes or coming to get cigarettes or coming to get cigarettes or coming to get vapor or coming to get cigarettes. I can't tell you a lot of people come and buy beer. I know people do buy beer. That's the store's biggest sale is cigarettes, beer, and I buy a Coke. I don't ever really buy no beer. So I buy milk sometimes when I don't want to go another mile down the road to the Family Dollar. And sometimes I buy the bread they sell. They just buy their bread and milk from Ali's or Aldi's or Farmer's Market or wherever they go. Somewhere in town. I don't know. I don't go to town. Damn it, don't tell me I come all the way down here and I didn't bring a cigarette lighter. Now come on, Baloop. There ain't no way, man, because there was a cigarette lighter in my pocket to begin with. I brought 2 cigarette lighters. I ordered a bunch of lighters off the internet, off of Amazon, like this, like a tray. There's a tray of 25 or a tray of 50. I ordered 2 trays, and look, it struck, right? That motherfucker strike about 2 weeks, and it won't strike no more. It'll be full of fluid. How's it going, Jackson? How you doing?
Good.
You have a good holiday?
Oh, yeah.
That's good, man. Y'all make some extra money this holiday? I can't remember his real Pakistani name. I wish I say it because I would always want to have a call by the real name, not his American made-up name. That's the father of them other boys. That man right there is my age. We and him are the same age, but he's the father of all them boys that run this store. Fadah, Ali, and Zahid. And them boys are born in America. But they still go back to Pakistan and visit family and stuff. And they got a bunch of cousins here in town. They like to do the auto sales. They like to go to auction and buy cars, pick out cars from the auction, and come back and do the body work and do the auto work and get them back up nice and pretty and sell them. Nothing wrong with it. He likes Mercedes, but he just don't like Mercedes. It's like it's got so many nitpick crap on the Mercedes engine that it causes problems after a while, but the Mercedes is a good thing, but it's just not a good thing. I like cars, man, that were simple. You raise the fucking hood and you work on it. Change the alternator, change the water pump, change the starter, rebuild the alternator, rebuild the starter, and there is a way to rebuild water pumps if you got the press. That's 3 people now at one time. You see that green box car down that truck down there, a Humvee or whatever? That's a pretty looking color. That car looks cool from out here. I like that green. The windows are all dark. That's got to be one of them cousins in there. Because I've never seen that vehicle up here. I think all these driving that maroon. And whenever he's not driving it, his wife drives it. Yeah, it's a trip right there where those cars are parked. There used to be a gas pumps and an island and a big old awning, and a storm came with high winds and it blew that awning. So see that awning down there? That's the original awning. It was there to begin with, way back 50 years ago, or more. All the way back to fucking about 73 probably, 74 probably when they built it. And then the one that was built here, it was built about 81. They put in some tanks, they put in some pumps. And where the store is was another gas station. Hey, I don't know who that is. Anyway, about 2 years ago, man, a storm blew in, and the whole awning, man, it fell, but it was still hooked up in the center, but it fell all the way over. It fell over that way, I think, and it landed across like a Mercedes and something else that was parked underneath it. And it kind of messed it up. They had to cut it down. And a guy back here, his name is Chris Brown. He lives back here in the neighborhood. Been knowing him ever since I was a teenager. He's younger than me. He's the guy I bought my Frankenstrat. He had a Frankenstrat laying in it. Back in '87, he had an old Mako guitar somebody made into a red, white, and black Eddie Van Halen Frankenstrat just laying in his bedroom. Somebody done chopped it up with a machete, chopped the nut and across a couple of frets. And I asked him what he gonna do. He said, I don't know, you want it? I said, I'll give you $40 right now. He said, all right. I bought $40 Mako guitar, and I sanded it down and repainted it. I sanded down that red and black stripes, but they were still, I just barely sanded them. You know, I didn't take them out. I sanded it all smooth to put a paint job on it. That's somebody I ain't never seen. I don't know who that girl is down there. Hey, man. Anyway, Chris came down here when all that metal was down, and Chris cut all that fucking metal up and put it on a trailer over a couple of days, man, and took it to the scrapyard and scrapped it out at River City Scrapyard, which was, it was a lot of work, man. I'm talking about some of those beams were, it was like hollow tube, like 18 by 11 or something, man, square or rectangular pieces, real long. See, I don't know. That's my next door neighbor and his girlfriend, I do believe. No, that's not Jack. Somebody else. I don't know. Jack's got a Ford. I don't think Jack's truck's that tall. He was at home when I left. Well, it is, because when I rode with Jack in his truck, I had to like step up to get in it. I was like, it was different. I don't ride a lot. This road right here now in 2025, 26, look, you can see the cars. It didn't used to be that way. 40 years ago, man, on Sunday night, people might go down that road after church and you wouldn't see nobody all night long. Yeah, it's a change of space and location. I'm still 6 miles out of town. I had to get out of the house, man. Today the wind was blowing. I didn't want to get out of it. It was wet. The streets were wet when I got up. I wasn't going to put my skates on no wet road. Last time I did that, I didn't dry them good. Next time I went to ride them, a bearing locked up. I just went home and put a lot of oil on it and got it back unlocked. Been riding it. I haven't changed bearings. Too lazy. Yeah, originally when the man that owned this, that built this little part right here, his name was Mr. Oliver. And that door down there, when he opened it, it was an arcade. It was called the Family Fun Center. That sign right there says the general store. That's later on the man turned it into a grocery store. But at one time, when he started out, he had like a Pac-Man and a Warlords and a thief table, a Warlords table, a thief table, and a stand-up Pac-Man machine. Then after that, he got some pinball machines. And then like within 6 months, man, there were machines all the way around that place, man. Every Galaga, Galaga, all three of those, Miss Pac-Man, Donkey Kong Jr., Asteroids, Tempest, all kinds of fucking games. Pinball machines, he had 4 pool tables. Probably right at, it had the most machines in it right at about 83 or 82. I think I was 19. I came in here one day. That's when I used to go to this one hairdresser, and when I had my hair cut a certain way, real long. I come in here one day, and this girl I know, Becky, she lives back in the neighborhood. Some of my videos, I'm sitting on her porch. I come in here, she was playing. She's good at Pac-Man. She liked Pac-Man. She had a bunch of fucking racked up, she said, here, play. I was like, I don't know how to play Pac-Man. Here, just play. And I started playing, and she slipped back and took a picture of me and my hair, and she showed me the picture not too long. I said, God damn, my hair was long. I didn't know. She said, I know that. That's why I wanted to show it to you. I said, that's probably the longest I'd ever had it styled. The last time, about 4 years ago in April, I cut 4 inches off the side of my face. I got tired of that shit getting in my mouth and underneath my chin, and I cut it all off, man. Just cut it off in the mirror and combed it down there and cut a line down the side of my head, out of my eyes, and right underneath my ears. Damn, see, we're back to nobody in the parking lot. I'll fix to skate home, Ali. I usually tell him when I'm sitting out here. Usually I sit around the back side of the building where that chair is. I had a dream. Somebody told me that wasn't my chair. I swear to God, I forgot who that was. I don't remember if it was Zahid or who. I don't think so. I can't remember. I just barely got a glimpse. But I woke up and I remembered I'd had a dream, and I was sitting in my chair, and somebody told me that's not my chair. I said, what are you talking about? I've been sitting in this chair for years. I said, it is my chair. Y'all ain't took it away for fucking 5 or 6 years. You moved it once, I put it right back where it was. I said, for a while, I kept it covered up. Whenever I wasn't sitting in it, I covered it up with a big old floor mat that they had some floor mats on back there. They stayed back there forever. I had a floor mat over the seat so that when it rained, it wouldn't get all wet. I need to tell Zahid next time I see him. If he sells me the chair and I take it home, I won't have nothing to sit in up here. It's a cool chair, man. It's a cool bucket seat out of some car. Some little bitty car. It's been sitting in the weather all these years now that I've been sitting in it. It's starting to fade. Yeah, used to, man. Friday and Saturday night, there were places in town that you could go that they don't have those places anymore. All that shit's gone. There's no putt-putt. And putt-putt had a big-ass arcade in the center of it. There's no mall. So you can't go to all the different stores and go get something to eat at the mall and go to the movies at the mall because the mall's gone. There's come up at dark and stuff. You might can stay out there till like midnight, and then they want to come lock it up, or maybe at 2 in the morning the cops might come and run everybody off. Back in the 80s and 90s, it used to be a big thing. Going down to that Clyde Veterans Parkway. It's right on the river. It's got It's got the frisbee golf out there too. Some people go out there at night and play frisbee golf. It's lit. It's got city lighting. Oh, he's driving slow. Must be on a turn. Good time for me to start skating back. Oh, hey, Jasper's rocking. Hey, man, I'm sorry I didn't see you. I got bad vision. I wasn't looking at the screen. I'm looking all around, talking, running my mouth. It's just freaky, man, because there's nobody here. Usually, man, you'll be somebody, hey, Hadley, it's usually somebody in and out this store Fridays and Saturday night. I bet you last night it was fucking busy. And then tonight, everybody's where they need to be on a Saturday. Like if you were traveling on I-20 right now headed to Dallas, it'd probably be a good thing because there's going to be people like you that are heading to Dallas. And most of your interstate commerce, a lot of your trucks and have gotten to where they needed during the daytime and they're stopped for the night. If they're not hot-shotting on through, like as dead as it is here, it's that dead on the interstate too. Like my dad said, son, everybody's gotten to where they needed to go during the day. A lot of people have called it quits for the day. And when the sun comes up, if they've got another place to go, they'll get back on the interstate. I've traveled from Dallas back to Shreveport in the middle of the night and not seen hardly 4 cars. Left Grand Prairie about 10:30. I was smart. When I left Grand Prairie and got on I-20, I was paying attention way down the road and I saw all the traffic was backed up way ahead of me. I saw it all. I was like, oh shit, and I hit the nearest exit and went around all that fucking Them motherfuckers, by the time I got to the accident, parallel on some fucking off-road, it was cool because when I got off the interstate and hit them off-roads, I was going right through all them cities. All them cities, man. Wasn't nobody on the street there. Bill said wait till 10:30. He said, that's going to be your best bet. And I did. I left at about 10:30. But when I got out there was a big accident and all the traffic was backed up. And I paid attention. I got off the interstate and went all around it. By the time I got to where the accident was, it was right by the downtown convention center in Dallas Convention Center. Traffic was still stopped. Both ways or something. I can't remember how bad it was. And then finally I got past it far enough. I got back on and it was no problem. I didn't stop once. But if I hadn't have been paying attention, I'd have been stuck in all that traffic.
Mike James. He'd be coming to the store balls like every other week.
I need to get my ass to the house, man. Yep. Oh, he be talking about the moonshot was fake. He always says that shit to me to try to stir me up. That's why he says it. He knows it'll stir me up. He just does it to play to just have a conversation. All right. I don't know how that chair got out here. I've never really seen it. I think that's the first time I ever sat in that chair. I thought that was one of them pizza chairs I brought out of here. I had some couple pizza. No, it wasn't Pizza Hut. It was Mr. Gaddy's had went out of business. So somebody had some chairs, and they were going to throw them away. And I said, "Hadley, these are like real heavy duty chairs. I don't want them no more. You want?" I took 2 of them, and I gave one to somebody, and I brought the other one up here. Somebody broke the back off of it. But that sometimes when I come up here, it's out front, and I sit in it. Still good. Last time I saw it, it was inside the store. They never leave them in the same place. I always move them around. Mom. Yeah, in the morning, sometimes when I skate up here, I skate up in the store and go and sit in the back by the Slurpee machines. Usually there's air back there. I'll sit my ass down inside. If it's hot outside, I'll go inside and sit down. If it's cold outside, I'll go outside and sit down. Sometimes I'll just sit out front if it's nice. In the mornings, you want to sit on this side of the store. And in the evenings, you want to sit on the other side of the store. When it's summer, just stay out of the sun. Yeah, it's weird even coming down, skating down the street here and not seeing a fucking car. Right at what, 10 o'clock Central? They're going to close at 11 if they don't stay up until 12. With all that family there, if they don't start leaving now, they'll fucking stay up until 12. All them people, they go to church on Friday. All them people back at the store that run that store, yeah, they go to mosque on Fridays, man. The Christians go to church on Sunday. I don't know. If you think about the Christian religion with Good Friday, you think about the Muslims going to church on Friday. There is a correlation there somewhere. Sure as 3's not 3. Christmas. On film, it just looks like a bunch of bright lights. The ones going around the roof line, the porch line, are colored red and yellow and blue and green, orange. The 4 trees are white. There's a snowman there, he's up. The other one on the right, he fell over. Whatever it is. That's pretty cool for a little, it's got foreground, mid-ground lighting, foreground lighting and mid-ground lighting. It's pretty good. They made it look good. See, here we go. Need to find me a driveway to get into, like this one. Gravel and everything. Come out the road for this asshole. Everybody that honks is either somebody knew me or somebody being a jerk. I'm the only guy in this whole fucking neighborhood that roller skates, so everybody that sees me, they know there's that guy on roller skates. Good. See where this road I'm on comes off of the highway back there, where that car's going? It goes right back to the highway at the end of this road. The road hits the highway, it makes a big loop around. And then there's streets off this road that lead further back there in that neighborhood. Man, I just smelt a bunch of earthweed. It smelled like earth. Like some kind of weed from back in the damn late 70s. I got a radar shooting at me from all the way down the road. Somebody's coming down the road. I think somebody's standing on the road. I'm not sure. Something's blocking that light when I stand right here. When I get by that radar sign, the radar might be messing my camera up. Did it the other day. Yeah, man, I come by here on one video and I seen Steve at his house. He followed me home. He came home with me. After I fed him, man, gave him some water, I let him out back, and I was cleaning his water mess up. That motherfucker went home. He went back here. Or a couple of days later, man, Nick had some motorcycles in there he was working on. He had all the gas tanks off. Hey, what's up? I just had to go get some cigarettes. A couple of days later, man, he was out there and he was grinding on something, man. Fucking carport, whole garage blew up. It blew the garage door off and blew him out the door. Caught the whole garage on fire. Fucking made the house fill up with fucking charcoal black smoke smell, carbon smell. Emily had to go stay at a suite at a hotel. She took the kids and the dog. Nick stayed there for a couple of days. Some carpenters come in, boarded up the garage. So now I don't have to worry about anybody stealing anything. Hell, the whole garage is black. Every fucking tool and everything, 3 Harley Davidsons, everything's burnt up in that. It's fucked up, man. Every time I think about it, it scares me. Hell, I'm liable to come home right now, my house be on fire. See, when they built this neighborhood, I had a carpenter crew of about 15-year-olds. Every one of these houses are built fucked up. There's a certain way you build a house where it won't fall apart, and there's a certain way you build a house where it will fall apart. And they built them all to fall apart. And of course, whoever inspected was a dirty motherfucker. Because where I live is my brother's house. Where the ceiling's fucked up in his house, the ceiling's fucked up in the house on either side of that house too. Same way, same kind of fuck up. Fucking sheetrock's all busting out of the ceiling, fucking seams cracking. Hell, my neighbor for a long time till he's had his house remodeled. So, people come in, did his bathroom. People come in, fixed his ceiling. But for years, I'd go visit him. His whole fucking sheetrock was busted out. Time I'd go over there, there'd be a piece on the floor. Right where it comes out the kitchen, goes the hallway, goes the living room. Same way in Kelly's. Same way in the house on the other side. Same problem. You go to Jack's house, Jack's home, that wasn't him. His truck's at home. You could go to Jack's house, you shut the door to blow insulation through the hole and land in the floor. I told him, I said, man, we can fix this. No, I'm gonna get some carpenters. He did though. He did get some carpenters. Man, I got lucky I didn't get too much rain on all that today. We mean to go through it. Put the good pieces in the attic. Burn the bullshit. Hell, I gotta clear the carport out so I can goddamn build something. Yeah, man. I got back on skates walking my dog. I got a pit bull, but he's not here. She's not here. She's over at my mom's house. My brother stays over there, and he keeps her. He lets her stay with him. She's pulling a fucking hernia. About September 2019, I got tired of being pulled walking that dog, and I said, I'm going to get back on roller skates. And I started looking. And then about January of 2020, Amazon said, we found something you're looking for. I just bought some cheap skates, man. I bought some cheap Chicago Bullets. I turned into a fucking obsessive compulsive skate junkie. I got an 80-pound skate bag full of wheels. I got 2 more pairs of skates I don't even wear. I got some Labetas or Labella, whatever they are, Labetas. 201s or whatever, I can't remember. They're leather. I got fucking 10 or 12 sets of wheels back there. Some of them I haven't even taken out of the package and put on a goddamn skate yet. I've been skating the shit out of these ever since I got them. I got another pair just like these, brand new. I put some big old honker orange roller derby wheels on them. They're harder durometer than what I got on here. I put some dime slime cushions and some Moxie Juicy wheels on these cheap ass skates I got right now. And see, within 3 years, these cheap skates, I started pulling the fucking eyelets. When I go to tighten it, fucking eyelet ripped out. They're vinyl. But I know the man at the boot shop. I just got to get my boots off and fucking take them up there and give him about 80 or 100. I don't know what happened, man. It cut me off. Yeah, I know, man. Nobody in this neighborhood will roller skate, man. No, I take that back. I have seen two kids that after, like, they were like walking one time with their mom, and then not too long after that, I saw them kids. One of them, they were on roller blades, but I didn't see them 2 or 3 times. They're not junkies like me. That's my way around in this neighborhood. Even 2 miles to the Family Dollar, and 2 miles back, with about 30 pounds on my back. Last time I did that, it about killed me. Mostly I sit around and smoke cigarettes. You know, work on shit. I stay on YouTube. I've been staying on YouTube for 14 years. It's not like it was. YouTube used to really be hip when I first started watching it. And their algorithms have got a line on me, and they do their best to shut me down, keep me from seeing what I'm interested in. They throw shit at me, but it's bullshit, man. It's just enough love to keep me every day. As a matter of fact, here lately, I haven't been watching as much YouTube as I usually do. I go to Scoops and watch some crazy ass shit. SCOOPS, Scoops. There's some crazy videos on that. And I share to Facebook. I don't really like Facebook. It's okay for your school friends and your relatives that you hadn't seen in a long time, and maybe your elementary school or whatever, people from school that you hadn't seen in a long time. It's a good way that you can hook up with them when you haven't seen them in 30 or 40 years, you know. But as far as finding any knowledge on, no. So you're not going to find many college professors giving 12-hour lectures on Facebook. What happened? What happened, man? How did Inwoke Sanity was hidden by who? Okay, Dale, go ahead, man. I wish, it would really be cool if we just sit here and talk to each other. I can see it now. I got the phone in front of my face. I'm sitting in the dark. What happened to Inwoke? Who? Somebody accidentally? Man, it's like this. If y'all are here, subscribe to me to hear what, hang out or whatever, there ain't no need for y'all to be like fucking, I'm going to block this person and I'm going to talk stupid, and all that shit, man. Dale, if you have a question, man, what's up? Wonder what's up. I'm not all knowledgeable. I'm knowledgeable in my interests. I changed the nut to bone. Does it change the sound? Man, I don't know. I like brass, but I've played on graphites like my Frankenstrat. The neck I put on my Frankenstrat. Quit, dog. Leave me alone. Go on. The neck I've got on my Frankenstrat, which I don't have to go. It's in cryostasis right now. It had a graphite nut in it when I got the neck, and I left it. But I like brass. But I mean, bone. I don't know if it's going to change the sound or not. I wouldn't. Not to any kind of drastic. It's all about no end. Y'all ain't causing no problems. No, man, there's no need. I just came up because I was going to the store. I said, man, I'm going to film this dark ride. In case somebody runs over me or I have to shoot somebody for trying to run over me. That's one of the main reasons why I fucking run my camera. On acoustic, Man, well, I would say too, if you put a brass on acoustic, it's going to sound. It's going to sound. And if you put a bone, man, they've been putting bone nuts on the guitars for years. That's the sound. You know, are you trying to be different? I mean, if it's a bone nut and it's already cut and it works and it holds your action across that first fret just perfect, go with it, man. Damn. You know? What about changing the bridge? On an acoustic? Well, you can always modify. See, like the acoustics, I got some back there that need work on, because when they glue that piece of wood that they've got that bridge and those pegs in, that motherfucker's not right. It's a hair off and needs to be further back. I got two guitars that are like that. That needs to be further back. I got an acoustic bass that I bought off of wish.com, and the bridge on it is a hair too far forward, which I'm probably just going to go ahead and pull the plastic bridge that's in it and go ahead and cut another slot right behind it. Like fill that slot and then cut a slot right behind it, put that bridge right back in, a slot, you know, a step back, a little bit longer. Everything was intonating sharp and it needed to be a little longer. You know what I found? All right, my friend Matt, he gave me this 12 string that he picked up somewhere. The neck was all twisted and shit. And I hung the guitar outside from a tree for about a month. And now it's back there in that bedroom. And when I go pick that guitar up and look at it, that neck's not twisted anymore. And see, what had happened is whoever owned the guitar, they had them big goddamn guy line motherfucking blimp dirigible fucking lines holding, of course, guitar strings. And after a period of time, the strings won't stretch no more. So when you start tuning it, they're just fucking goddamn pulling cables. And over a period of time of people not changing the strings on that acoustic 12 string, it fucking twisted the neck up. And me personally, I go to the store, I go over there and, hey man, you got some PV strings? Yeah, give me some 8s or 9s, 8s. And I'll put a PV electric 8s on my acoustic. They love me for it. Those little light gauge fucking strings, they don't pull the neck none, you know? Whereas you go buy some fucking earthwood acoustic strings and all that, they're great big old thick ass cables. You know, they do sound different. I used to play with this other guy, and all his guitars were acoustic strings. And I'd come over there with my acoustic. I had those electric strings. Well, I sounded completely different, a lot brighter. And the two of us together, it just sounded better like that. You could distinctly tell. Me personally, I prefer to put those little bit thin gauge electric strings on my acoustics. Sounds good. People say, oh no, you're not supposed to put electric strings on acoustic. Well, whatever. I do. My guitar likes it. No more pulling, twisting on necks. Yeah, that 12 string, when I get around to it, I'm going to end up putting just like a set of 10s and a set of 8s for this fucking 12 gauge set. I've tried those wolf strings. I had some 7s, man, and it, like within a month, just tuning on my acoustic, man, that fucking wolf string broke. Yeah, all the clean dishes are in the dishwasher. I'm too fucking lazy to put them in the cabinet, put those dirty dishes in the dishwasher. I will, though, one morning when I wake up. Or maybe tonight. Usually when Matt says he's going to come over, I'll clean my kitchen. Man, they don't even make my favorite strings. I had a sound. I like the Vinci strings. I used to buy some Vinci's, 9 to 42 or 9 to 48, whatever they were. And Diaquisto, stainless steel. I like stainless steel. I like the stainless steel Diaquisto, and I think I was buying the stainless steel Vinci's. If they didn't have the stainless steel Vinci, I think I was buying the green pack of Vinci strings. And see, those two companies, they don't even make those strings anymore. And back there in the bedroom where I got a bunch of junk stored up, where I got a box full of guitar strings, I may have a couple packs of Diaquisto left, and I may have a pack of Vinci strings left, but I'm not putting them on any of my guitars because two things. I'm not recording, and I'm not playing live. So all I'm doing is trying to brush rust off. I got a bunch of guitars I need to get back up where I don't have to work on none of them, get them all where they're playing. That's my problem right now. I'm behind on guitar work. I just got that goddamn Epiphone out of my way, but I've yet to restring it. And I got a problem anyway. It's like the fucking bridge pickup. Either it's the bridge pickup's not loud enough, or it's the neck pickup's not loud enough, and the bridge pickup's over modified. It's fucking loud as a motherfucker. And had I known it was going to be like that, I'd have modified the neck pickup too. But I didn't do it. And it's wax potted and it's in there. I may just end up later pulling it. I also thought about it. Fuck it. Don't go back into the electronics again. Just play on the fucking bridge pickup and be done with it. Go to the next guitar. See, the next guitars, I already inspected one with the little microscope. God damn, it's got gouges all in the frets. They did not fucking fine sand the frets whatsoever. Them Chinese guitars. That's the deal about them Chinese copies, replicas. They're really, really good, but like, here's 1%. You drop the ball, over here's one, like 3 yards from the fucking goal line. They drop the fucking ball, man. Just little bitty nitpick shit here that you already know how to build a fucking guitar. But why would you let that slip and this slip? And this is 3% of being, hey, I like this. You know, it makes somebody else have to work. Any guitar I've ever owned, I had to work on anyway. No guitar. I can't go in a fucking music store. Don't even think about grabbing no Fender off the wall and handing it to me. Fuck it. I don't want to play it because it don't play. Not like I like a guitar to play. And I've been around, and one time I thought I was going to buy a Les Paul, and I went around to all the music stores, and every killer Les Paul, I thought, man, I like that. I'd go play it, and I put that motherfucker right back up on the shelf. This shit don't play good. None of them. I told one music store, I said, y'all let me come in here and let me adjust some of these guitars. He said, why? I already did. I said, well, man, not every one I picked up off the wall I thought I might like to buy. After I played it, I put it back up there. I don't want that shit. Shit. High price shit. And I shouldn't expect to pay a high price from Gibson and then have to go home and work on it. Fuck that. Fuck that. I just go pay a low price and go home and work on it. I'm going to have to work on them anyway. Every guitar I've ever owned I had to work on. Had to mod. Had to adjust. That when I got that old beat up Epiphone, used beat up motherfucker, when I started looking at it, it had never been adjusted. The guy who ever bought it, he never adjusted that motherfucker. That motherfucker shit was all set from the factory. It wasn't even really right on intonation or nothing. That's the first thing I did after I cleaned it up and put strings on it. I checked the intonation. I was like, man, nobody has ever set this guitar up. And whoever owned it, man, they were happy D-chord playing motherfucker. Because you start looking at all the frets, and it's right down there, goddamn D-chord mark, D-chord mark. That's all that's on the guitar, D-chord marks. Like, goddamn. At least all the other frets don't have marks. So I went over it with some sandpaper, try to like fucking each fret, trying to goddamn graduate it back down, try to get some of those marks out. I don't know if it's going to play right or not. I may not fucking turn the amp on until 4 o'clock in the morning. See, the thing about the amps I got, all these amps I got, my original amp got ripped. My original setup got ripped off, and that was my sound. And I've bought all these other fucking amps in the meantime to try to replace it. That shit don't get it, man. And if you want don't buy a Marshall DSL unless you go to the store and you go, man, that's what I'm looking for. Well, good, get it. But as far as my experience is concerned, it was a mistake buying it. I mean, it does what it does, and it's good for that. But as far as the kind of work I do and the tools I use to do my work, it don't work. And it's ever since I got it used. I have not opened the back. I haven't even thought about, hey man, you might want to replace all the tubes in this amp. You might help it. No, I'm not fixing to dump a bunch of tubes in the fucking Vietnamese. Vietnamese mass production. Because after talking to the computer about that amp, that DSL is not built like my fucking JCM 900 was. And if I'm going to build an amp, it's going to be like that 900 I had. I've been thinking about either dual gain stage or 3 gain stages. It all depends. Thing about it is, I'm not looking for a bunch of clip and gain either. We've discussed that. I've got 3 amps I've already discussed with the computer that I'm going to build. And I'm gonna buy the transformers to the 100 watt. I'm going to build first. That's first on the list. Get the power transformer and the audio output transformer. The rest of it's fucking downhill money. Those are the 2 most expensive parts. Building a head ain't shit. I've never finger joined. That's what I keep seeing about. I ask how's a Marshall head built? Oh, it's finger joined. The cabinets are too. I'm like, oh shit. Now we got to step back and learn some other new skill. Buy a joiner. My brother does it at work. He says that, well, he don't do it every day, but they got a machine and a pattern and a template to cut it out and do all that. There is a guy in their shop when he does a lot of joining. That's the guy that does all the finger joining. As far as building a box, I can do that. I've been building boxes since I was a kid. I just don't want to build where you fucking nail a piece of plywood on the side. I want it to be joined. I thought about using fucking oak. That'd be a heavy fucking cabinet, man. And you won't hear much sound coming out of the side of that cabinet. You'll be thrown right out the front. Whereas like the birch cabinets, you can kind of hear it on the side. Because the cabinet kind of resonates. It's a lightweight. Not as heavy as oak. Yeah, I got a 212 cabinet my friend made. It's made out of pine from Home Depot. It's a box. It's holding 2 speakers. He played a rolling. He had a rolling head, a rolling cabinet, and then he had 2 212 cabinets. And he put his amp on stage, and then he put one speaker cabinet on the other side of the stage, and the other speaker cabinet on the other side of the stage. And so he's playing through 3 cabinets: the 212, 212, and a 412. He spread his sound out. Keith had that rolling all the way back in the 80s, man. A solid state rolling head. Before that, he had a Renown, and before that, he had a Backstage 30. And one time we did a talent show way back in like 82, I think. And there was 3 different bands, and that one of them boys had Backstage 30. So we just stacked all 3 Backstage 30s on top of each other. And every band that came through, they used all 3. That guitar player, he used all 3 Backstage 30s. And then over on my side of the stage, this other band, I let this other band use my gear, but then I didn't know them other bands. I didn't let them other bands. I had a Fender Pro Reverb. It was damn near brand new. It was like a couple years old. Then I had my crate, which was a crate 1, the green one, wooden crate. And then the other boy in the opening band, he had a crate, but he had the next step past mine. It was a wooden crate, but it was kind of a brown-orange looking, instead of being green, and it had the distortion built into it. It had like a switch, and where mine was just gain, bass, treble, and master. His had a distortion circuit in his crate. That was like one of the first crates with the distortion circuit. So we stacked the 2 crates on top of the Fender Pro. It was awesome setup. 3 Backstage 30s on one side. What's that, 90 watts? The boys cranked that shit all the way up too. That first band, they did a bunch of Zeppelin cover tunes, so they didn't use the saturation. But Keith, when he came out, he turned saturation back up on him. My friend Keith, he went in the Navy not long after that, a couple of years, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years after that. He went in the Navy and he's a Seabee. He did 25 years, man. He got out of the Navy. He's living over in Texas, working for whatever county he's living in and doing roads, running the equipment or whatever. He started out in the Navy with the shovel, and he ended up out of the Navy the guy that tells everybody what to do. He was just the very last rank you can get before you become an officer. whatever that is in the Navy. After he got in the Navy, he met some girl in Thailand, Taiwan, or somewhere, Thailand. He married some Thailand girl, and she had 2 boys. And his oldest son right now is a sub commander in the Navy, U.S. Navy. Just about 5 or 6 years ago, he achieved the rank of sub commander. Goddamn, they just don't give that away, man. You gotta be knowing some shit, man, to goddamn get that rank. You gotta know that whole goddamn submarine. If somebody dies, and you better know how to fix that shit. You're not gonna be the captain if you don't know all the fucking systems. And you think about it, it's like Commander Bond over in England. Man, my friend's son is damn near James Bond by rank. That's a trip. He's also the kind you ask him a question, he act like he don't hear you. He's not supposed to disclose any kind. You start asking questions about the sub shit, he'll fucking act like he just don't hear you. He will not carry on the narrative. I told him, I said, I said, I'm not offended. You're not going to carry on the narrative. I see where you're standing. I feel that way too. If you can't tell me, don't. I don't care. You don't need Andy to build an amp. He's just got you fooled into believing. All he's doing is copying other people. What he does has been done before he was ever born. People have fucking modified amps, changed components. Ever since that fucking first amp broke. Why did it break? Oh, this cheap ass shit inside. Well, I want them all changed. Hey, this sounds a little bit better. We use a better component. All that shit was on the internet, man. Tube amps are already fucking patented. They were patented way back. Everybody, your fucking Pender copied RCA's patents. Fuck, come on. Be realistic. I've been discussing it for 2 months with fucking computer. All the print, you know, ask Andy about schematics. He won't answer. Fuck that. You know, he's going to teach somebody how? No, he's not going to teach me. I learn on my own. Hell, I've been knowing about power supplies and tube amps way back before that motherfucker. Worked at a music store when he was a kid. He'll tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. He don't know what he's talking about. Shit, I remember the day the EMG man came to our store and sat there and pitched the EMG pickup. I know exactly where EMG came from. Exactly where they came from and why they came out. Nobody else seems to know. They seem to think it's all about tone. It was never about tone. EMG pickups was never about, we got a pickup that sounds better. And the only way the EMG pickup sounds better is it won't pick up radios. That's what their pitch was. I ain't going back there. Man, one of the amps I want to build after I discussed it with the computer, it ain't but $20 in parts. $20. It's a low watt tube amp. Now the 100 watt 3EL34 that I plan on building, no, those transformers are gonna run after I buy both transformers, it'll be around $700. Hey Boo or whatever it's called, I can't remember, man. For the 100 watt head, that's gonna be the most expensive in the whole fucking head, or the 2 transformers. Then after that, you know, tubes are fucking, a whole set of tubes is like, what, almost $200 maybe? If you want real good tubes, better than the JJ crap, you might pay $3. I'm not paying thousands of dollars for no goddamn tubes. And then tube sockets or whatever, you know, Tube sockets are, and potentiometers. The rest of the components, capacitors, resistors, that's given. We know what capacitors cost this, good ones this, the ones that are better, they'll cost that, da-da-da. That's no problem. It's like 178 components, I think, in the whole amp. Then we'll build a Super Champ, a Ribera model, like Eddie Van Halen had. Like I saw him playing on in Women and Children First. He was playing on a Super Champ with the extension speaker. And he had his pedal board and an MXR 31 band EQ all off in the room. He had a mic on the main amp and a mic in the room on a stand raised up into the very center of the room. And that's where he was getting his sound for the show. They were piping it out of there into the monitor system on deck. I didn't see no 100-watt Marshalls with Variacs. He might have did that at home or in the studio. You don't want to carry all that fucking shit on the road, man. But, I got Marshalls and Variacs. What happens when you get out there and now you accidentally something fucking goddamn burns all up in the middle of a tour? And that's what you brought, that's what you got. No, he played on that fucking Super Champ. They fucking screamed. The way the arena is, or it's a Coliseum, is whether you walk down the hallway, man, when you talk, the reverb sounds just like the Van Halen album. As a matter of fact, when Van Halen got with Sammy Hagar and they put out that first album, when they got ready to go on tour, they rented the Hirsch Coliseum for 2 weeks and built their show there. And the first show of the tour was in Shreveport, which is the worst show of a tour. If you catch a tour, the thing about catching a tour is the first shows of the tour, things are not normal. Bugs aren't all exactly, the timing's not been felt. But halfway through a tour, when they're still strong, the timing's all there. They've all got their time. They know, okay, we're fixing to go, this is how it rolls. This is what rolls good. And they're all on the ball, they're all feeling it. Towards the end of a tour, if they're tired and wore out, you may not get a good performance out of them, man. They're all fucking burnt out, especially Van Halen was a cocaine party. So maybe but then at the end of a tour, if they're not all tired and burnt out and wore out from the road, you're going to get the better show at the end of a tour than you're going to get a show at the beginning of a tour. And last time I saw Van Halen was in Dallas, Texas at the West End Marketplace. You look on YouTube, somebody filmed it, put that concert on YouTube. I was there, me and Steve, my friend Steve said, pack your shit, save your money, get your weed ready. I said, why? Because we're going on a trip. Where are we going? We're going to Dallas Alley to see Van Halen. I was like, you're kidding me. Yep. It was cool, man. I didn't like the drill. All that Panama and Van Halen was Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, Women and Children, maybe Mean Streets. By the time he met Valerie, she started dressing him funny, and the music changed. He used to scream and smoke the fuck out of a guitar. It turned into a, pop festival. My guitar teacher said he saw him with Journey on Van Halen 2. They said he said when you looked up there and saw them raggedy-ass guitars, he said, man, what kind of punk shit is this bunch of raggedy-ass guitars? He said, but when that dude came out on stage, oh my God, you never heard a fucking guitar scream like that in your whole fucking life. They make a guitar scream. See, my cousin played football with Pat, Valerie's brother. I'm the same age as Pat. And I would call my cousin whenever Van Halen, hey man, can you get some backstage passes? I'm like, no, I can't get no backstage, but here's what you do. If you go up there about 3 o'clock, the doors are going to be open. He said, you can go in and just sit down in that fucking house. Don't go up to the stage. Don't go backstage. Don't go around the stage. Just go in and sit down. You can watch the sound check. And I did. That's how come after they did a sound check, Eddie was in one of them back rooms back there just practicing. And I went around back before they had a fence. They got a fence now. You can't walk around back and look in the window. I walked around back and looked in the window. I picked on the window. He had his back to me. He was right there by the window. I banged on the window. Hey, man. He turned around, did thumbs up. I was like, turn it up. That's when I saw what he was playing through. He had a Super Champ. It had a silver face. And he had a black speaker box. It said Fender on it. It's a speaker. It's about the same size as the Super Champ. And the Super Champ had a mic on it. and he had an MXR 31 band EQ and his pedal board. And then, like I said, there was another microphone in the middle of the room, extended up to where the mic, the 58 was exactly, or whatever, it was a 58, because it had a big windscreen. Both of them had windscreens, big ball mics with windscreens. That's what I remember. I think I was 16, maybe. Then we went up to the hotel during Diver Down, man, and Braylon had like that whole top 2 floors or whatever, this one of a Holiday Inn, Holidome down there on the west side of town where I went to high school. We were wandering around the hotel, and we got them wandering by the elevator, and it opens up, and there's Eddie and Valerie with 2 bodyguards. And bodyguards told us, y'all gonna have to go. That's the first time I ever saw him up just real close, like I was about 6 or 8 feet away from him. Me Wise Magic. I like that song. To me, when I hear a 5150 amp, I think of that Me Wise Magic and Pound Cake. Those 2 songs. When I hear a 51, every time I play on a 5150, I hear Pound Cake and I hear Me Wise Magic. It just sounds like it. That's one thing amazing, man. That album, when you go listen to it, if he's playing on a 5150. You go listen and go play on a 5150, and it still sounds like it sounds like the record. That's something amazing that you know that don't always happen. You know, like Glenn Fricker says, pickups don't matter. Well, they do matter, and tubes do matter too. Because if it's not fucking chiming and singing and screaming right, then you ain't gonna get the job done. I can't get through the doorway. What kind of recording we gonna get? The pickups and the speakers and the tubes and the type of amp you use is for you to get through the doorway. Because when that engineer puts a microphone on that speaker, it ain't going to sound like that no more. First of all, it's going through that mic. That changes the sound right there. Then it goes up into the mixer. That changes the sound right there. Then it goes on the fucking dial. That changes the sound right there. When it's played back, it's coming through your system. That's a whole change in sound. And that engineer needs it to where he can make it sound fit in the mix. So get used to it. Your sound is for you to go into the zone. He's going to you're just a stroke of a paintbrush or a hue. He's going to take it and paint a picture with it. And if he asks you to do this or do that, if you go, oh no, I don't want you, well then get the fuck out, professional. Because you're not a fucking professional. You're going to listen to that man, what he says, if you are a professional, and get the fucking job done and get the fuck on. Ain't got time for this I'm a star shit. Or he has to be blacklisted in the business next. Huh, Jackie? The most doomed thing you'll ever hear is you'll never work on my town again. You don't want to hear that. You'll never work in this theater again. You don't want to hear that either. You did something wrong if you hear that. I've heard it many times, but not directed at me. I've been on gigs before where another motherfucker just fucked right up and got fucking screamed and hollered, get the fuck off my deck. And I'm standing right there. I'm just embarrassed as hell. Because I know better how to act when, shit. This motherfucker didn't have when they run him off like that, it's because he didn't have no goddamn business being there in the beginning. I miss Ozzy. It was 22 years ago I was introduced to him. My friend came, I was working at Ozfest, and, hey, y'all want to meet Ozzy? I said, man, I'm crew. I can't be. Look, I just got through talking to Ozzy and Miss Sharon. He just got up. He's been taking it easy, sleeping all day and whatever. I told him, they asked about you. Who was that playing guitar this morning? The words all around the whole gig. My friend. Well, we want to meet him. So he came and said, I already talked to him and Miss Sharon. They're waiting over here. I went to come get you. Do you want to meet him or not? And I said, yeah. Man, I'm fucking rolling into high school, 10th grade, playing Black Sabbath on the 8-track. If you'd have told me, hey man, you're going to grow up and work Ozfest and meet Ozzy, I'd have told you was fucking crazy. God damn, that's fucking crazy. Talk about super irony. The universe blessed me working in the theater. The universe blessed me. I asked for it too. I asked to be in the business professionally, and I was. Super irony. He was really a great guy. All that shit you see where his eyes look like he's all glaring and he acts all stupid and unbeknowing, that's an act. And all that, crazy and all that, that's a fucking act. Man, that dude talked just like anybody. If we all walked in, if we all knew each other and we were all musicians and we all walked into Guitar Center on a Saturday, which what usually happens in music stores, or you'll get a bunch of musicians come in and they all know each other and they all talk music. Ozzy was the same way. He just treated me. He did not treat me like he was above me, and he did not treat me like I was below him. He was cool, just a normal person. Look, I was told when my friend came to get me, me and Steve, he goes, y'all want to meet Ozzy? He said, you got to put your cigarette out, and if Ozzy asks you for a cigarette, don't give him one. Well, while we were talking, he asked me, hey, can I get a cigarette from you? And I told him, no. And you should have seen the look on his face. He looked at me like I was a big, super duper asshole. And I said, but I told him, Miss Sharon was like standing on the other back side of him, shaking her head and being real quiet, saying, no, don't give him one. No. And I told him, I said, you know why? I said, because I was told before I came to meet you that to not be smoking a cigarette, and that if you asked me for a cigarette, to not give you one. And that's when Miss Sharon spoke up. Ozzy, you've got to sing. You need to drink water. I said, for real, man, you got to sing. I said, look, what he told me, he said, Hadley, out of all the most evil drugs out there, he said, I mean, cocaine, heroin, pills, marijuana, alcohol, the damn cigarettes were the most addictive, deadly motherfucking addiction I have ever had in my whole fucking life. Just deadly. But she drug him off after that. Well, when I came up, she said, oh, I've seen him all day, because every time Miss Sharon works, look, all during the gig, Miss Sharon and Kelly and Jack, all three of them work. I see Miss Sharon all day, back and forth. You might come in and bring some paperwork. Might come in and tell somebody they need to go to make a phone call. Somebody called, you got to go back and make a phone. Back and forth. Kelly too, working back and forth. Jack too, working back and forth. And every day, all day long, when I passed Miss Sharon before I met her, I'd just say, hi, Miss Sharon. I'd be smiling on my face. Man, you wouldn't believe every time I passed that lady, I had such a big smile on my face. I'm going, God damn, I cannot believe this, that I'm here doing this, you know? It was like the universe blessed me. I didn't even ask for it. But then again, in Dallas, man, they ain't got nobody run them outdoor gigs. All those stagehands over there that are in those theaters, they don't want to go out in the middle of summertime and work another fucking gig outdoors. That's why they need people. When I got over there, I was a card holder from here. I got over there, they give me 5 permit hands. Here's your crew, 6 of us. My main job, all I did was set up the audio. We put up the 2 mains, knocked that shit out early in the morning. Then we went to the stage, set up all the fucking side monitors, set up all the floor monitors. I had this shit done by about 10:45, man. Hey, the rest of the morning till 12, like from 11 to 12, we was just standing around. I asked my road guy, I said, what else you need me to do? He goes, man, go out and smoke a cigarette or whatever. By that time, Chris pretty much had broke the drums down for Puffy, tightened everything up, cleaned them up, tightened them up, put them back together. I started talking to the guitar tech. He was working on a guitar. He let me help him with it. I asked him, I said, look, man, I need to hear this guitar. He goes, I'll plug you up. I'm not going to turn you up to Zach's volume. I'll turn you up to a quarter of the way. But hell, he's playing through 2 Marshall heads. Man, me and Chris got on, when we started, I was playing some Black. Chris stopped me. He goes, look here, man, you don't be playing no Black Sabbath. And don't be playing no Black Sabbath, and don't be playing no Randy Rhoads. I tried to remember some Randy Rhoads. I thought I started playing. It was just, I stopped. And I got to thinking, what can I play, you know? The deal was the guitar tech had just got the guitar from Gibson, 2003. It was the black and orange buzzsaw guitar. I said, what's wrong with it? He said, Zach says it ain't right. He had it plugged up to a Conn strobe tuner. I said, well, is it in tune? He goes, yeah, I got it plugged up to the tuner. It's perfectly tuned, but he says it's not right. I told him, I said, all right, here's what the deal is, man. As far as that tuner's concerned, yeah, the guitar's tuned to the tuner, but the guitar's not tuned to itself. I said, you need to like check the harmonics and see if that guitar's not tuned. I said, you could tweak it, being as it's a new guitar, and the strings hadn't been played any. That's one of the reasons why the guitar was a problem. It hasn't been played in. I said, you need to play it in. You need to stretch the shit out of it, tune it, stretch the shit out of it, tune it, and check the intonation and tweak it. I said, when these things go bad, check the intonation and tweak it before you take the strings off. You new strings on, get it all tuned up, check the intonation, tweak it. I said, after a while, checking it and tweaking it, checking it, you might find one out and tweaking it in. Eventually, it's going to get tweaked all the way in. I said, now that as far as I can tweak it right here, there may be a difference in the neck bow. It's like you might pull it back a little this way or let it go a little that way to really get it back and forth close. I said, you might want to take his favorite guitar and start measuring and see if you can get this one to be measured, the bow and everything, to be almost closely exact as possible. Anyway, I started, what can I play? Chris goes, play something, man. He got on Puppy's drums, got on the bass. And while I was playing, the monitor guy starts pulling up all the fucking side fields. There's 12 coffin cabinets on each side of the stage. That's stacked 6 and 6 on top. They're like 300 watts a cabinet, I think. Then the front of house guy, he's fucking pulling it up in the mains in the front of the house. And when I stopped playing, he's like, keep playing. And I hollered at him, I'm not at Zach's volume, so it don't matter. Go ahead, keep playing. And I got to thinking, man, what can I play? Judas Priest? No, that shit don't sound. I was playing some Priest. It didn't sound good. It was one guitar. I'm one guitar. Priest is a 2-guitar band. That's what I always play. The band I used to be in years ago, we did Priest tunes. I thought, well, Kiss. No, that's another 2-guitar band. I thought, let's see, what did I used to jam on in my bedroom? I used to listen to April Wine, 21st Century Schizoid Man by King Crimson. I started jamming on that shit. And then I did Frankenstein. I used to jam on Frankenstein. I played Frankenstein. Next thing I know, Zach's standing out there. I walked over there, man, kind of like between fucking. So I said, man, you're not mad I'm playing guitar, are you? No, go ahead. He didn't say nothing, man. No, go ahead. Anyway, at the end of the night, that guitar tech he had located, they're going to San Antonio the next day. He had already called around. He found three more Boss OD1s in the pawn shops. He gave me one of Zach's old ones. He said, look, Hadley, I was going to have to take the pots out and replace them. He said, because I've done cleaned them and cleaned them and cleaned them. They got static in them. They're fucked up. He said, but other than that, since I found 3 more tomorrow, when we get to San Antonio and I get off the bus, I'm going to have Motor Pool take me to these pawn shops. He said, one of the pawn shops said they got a brand new one still in the box. He said, so I was going to throw this away, but I thought about you. If you want it, you can have it. When I was signing out that, and I told him they'll accuse me of stealing. He said, no, I'll wait till the night. So you wait till the night. When I signed out, he went right up there when I was signing out for the night and told that motherfucker in charge, I'm giving this to Hadley. I've got the pedal over there. He said he wouldn't give me the knobs. He said, Hadley, I can't give you the knobs. I got to keep the knobs. I still got it. It's still got the scratch marks where Zach used it at. That's where I set it. I just set it right where he had it. Just as a little boost. It don't do worth the fuck with this goddamn Vietnamese Marshall. That Vietnamese Marshall's a piece of shit. It did a different type of fucking circuitry than the normal. Somehow or another. From what I discussed with the computer. Now, the computer was telling me, no, Hadley, that Vietnamese is not what you had. It's not the same kind of circuit. I got an amp back there. I got to work on fucking PCB shit and Laney crap. Got 2 Laney craps around the house. One's disguised as a crate, and the other's disguised as a stage right. My friend found that crate for me, and we drove all the way over to Texas to get it, and it was used. And once I got it home, the man said he'd already had it worked on once. It was his brother. His brother died, and he was selling it, but he was an older man. And I told Matt, every time I played on that amp, I kept telling Matt, I said, man, this sounds like a Laney. See, a friend of mine way back in the day, he's passed away now too. His name was Ace Carter. He was a good guitar player. He was half Puerto Rican, half white. Or half Puerto Rican, half black. He had got a Laney head way back in the late 80s or early 90s, and he had a 60-watt head. And that's what that crate is. It's a 60-watt crate, but it's a fucking Laney circuit. And I told my friend Matt, every time I played on that motherfucker, I said, man, this thing sounds like a Laney. And it come to find out later, I kept trying to find schematics for the crate. You can't find any. I even called up in Washington State where Crate Behringer and the guy I talked to, oh, we only make boards and stuff now. We don't make crate amps anymore. Well, where can I get a schematic? Oh, I don't know. He wouldn't even tell me it was a Laney, that dumbass. It wasn't until I started discussing amps for 2 months with the computer that I discovered. I told them I can't find prints for it. They said, that's because it's not a crate, it's a Laney. Crate had a Laney when they went to China, make some and put their name on it. Said computers told me it was a Laney G60R. And I think that's the head my friend had, something like that. It was a Laney head. It sounds just the same. That's what I kept telling Matt. This sounds like a Laney. Well, no, I was right, too. How ironic. Yeah, years back, I bought the Bagheera from out of Sweetwater. I paid $600 for it. It's got cheap steel in it, I found out. And digital reverb, I'm not crazy about. One thing about that digital reverb is that one channel has a different type of reverb than the next. That's kind of, if you like that reverb and you want to use it, you pull it up and use it. That's a pretty good thing about it, but I like springs. The kind of what head I want to build, one of the preamp tubes, one side of it's open. The computer told me I could use that side for my reverb. I could put a reverb tank in my head I want to build. I told the computer, I said, well, if putting reverb in, it requires a whole bunch of more circuitry that's making it more complex. I don't want to add it. And they said it wouldn't be no problem. I think it said something about just getting the spring tank. And I had 2 Accutronic tanks. Pisses me off. Hey, Star Trek's on. Landro, are you of the body? I'm sorry, y'all. I wasn't reading the chat. It said you could continually learn from, engage your brain, plus play music. People love it. You're only one part of many to a music engineer. Ozzy bring a bat is some shit. Oh. What happened with that Ozzy deal is somebody had thrown a fucking rubber bat up. He had bit it. And the next time somebody threw the bat up at another show or whatever, he just picked it up and bit it. He didn't know somebody threw a goddamn live or dead bat up there. I think that's how the story goes. Smoking, yeah, see, I just got back from getting cigarettes. The best way that I found to quit smoking is when I run out, not run back down there and get some. But I'll fucking smoke up, I'll take the butts out of the ashtray and roll them up with fucking, yeah. I live in squalor, man. Man, I had some friends that he dropped some food on. This was a story. I wasn't there. Pat Ansley. Pat was the first one who told me my friend Greg was Elvis Presley's son. I let that shit go in one ear, out the other. Hell, my daddy worked with Greg's mama. My daddy knew Greg was son of Elvis Presley. Greg told me a story about Pat dropped some food on the floor and picked it back up, made it, and somebody said something to him. And shit, this boy lived in Keyfield when I moved out here. This is one of them country redneck kind of motherfuckers that lived out here when I moved out here. I was a Star Trek nerd, jerked out of the city and brought to the country when I was 12, back in 76, March. As a matter of fact, this March will be 50 years. Anyway, Greg said Pat dropped some food on the floor, picked it back up, made it. Somebody said something to him. That's nasty. He spit on the floor, dropped a biscuit in the spit, fucking rubbed it all around with his foot, and picked the biscuit up and ate it. God, see, now that's right there is worth me going live to tell that story. Anybody that heard that? Yeah. Yeah, all right, you got a second battery. Do you have a stock alternator in your car, or did you get one of them high amperage alternators? Because I used to have just a little bitty fucking dual 80 in my fucking van, and I had a Rockford Fosgate speakers out of some wedges, plastic wedges. I took it all apart. I built a wooden box, bigger, and I had a CD player, a portable CD I would hook up to that and ride around. And when I would have it turned up, I kept the amp down. But when I'd turn it up loud, I could be sitting at a red light, man. My lights would be blinking kind of like going dim, 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 blinking with the music. So I went to Western Auto, man. I said, man, I think I need to get a new auto. He said, well, I told him my alternator was going dim when I turned my music up. He says, look, I got this other type that for your car. They make two types. He said, this one right here has got higher amperage. He was asking me about, I was a 350 van, so I think everything under there was going to be okay to put that higher amperage in it. He said some little cars you didn't want to put that high amperage in, it'd burn your wiring up. But once I put that higher amperage alternator in my van, man, I didn't have no more problems with the lights blinking to the music. And I wasn't running no 2,000 watts. Man, back in 81, me and my buddy took the back seat out of his Javelin, found us some wood, kind of drew a pattern on the wood where we cut the wood out where it fit right there where the back seat went, the backrest, and there's two holes in the trunk wall, just perfect. We took two Eminence, the full range 12s that come out of a PA system, you know, like a little PA that's got a 12 and a horn. Someone had put JBLs in their cabinets, and they took the Eminence out. Me and Rod, I bought the Eminence. They were in the back of the music store I used to work at. I went up to the music store one day. He said, what did I do that? I said, man, I want to get these speakers back here. He sold them to me real cheap. I knew they were back there. They were junk. You know, like I said, somebody bought real JBL speakers. Because the store we were JBL and Altec dealers. And they had changed out their PA speakers with some good shit. We took them Eminence and put them in that Javelin. And it was 40 watt Sparkomatic power booster. He had open headers. When he was coming from town, man, 2 miles down the road, you could hear breaking the law. Be quiet. What's that? What's that? What's that? Listen. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Then you'd hear brrrr. You hear the music first. 2 miles away, man. Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Then you'd hear the headers and everybody, oh, that's Rodney. Once you heard them headers, you heard first, you hear me. What is that? What is that? You hear, listen. Then you hear the music, and then you hear the headers, and then everybody knew then, oh, that's Rodney. Rodney's coming. Wasn't nobody putting big speakers in cars. It wasn't no 2,000 watts. It wasn't no subs. But it fucking jammed. Nowadays, it's common. Nowadays, it's just rattle and buzz. I like Fidelity. That's what I liked about his system, man, that you didn't even really have to crank it up. There was just such, and we had two 6x9s in there too, to get the highs. Well, I liked it because you didn't have to, you could be riding around it, and you didn't really have to turn it up. You just turn it up enough to listen to it, and it was such a big, full sound in there, with those big speakers. You know, full range PA speaker, I would say 50 to, or, you know, I don't know, 50 to 1K maybe, or maybe 4K or something. That's about how that fucking 12 was. 50 hertz to about 1K or 4K or something. It didn't go up too high. It didn't go to no 16 or 20. Man, I don't even know whatever happened to them speakers in that car, man. He left the car sitting on the side of the road and fucking had a flat, and he walked home. When he came back to get it with a tire and shit, the fucking cops took his car. Didn't have no insurance on it. Somebody seen him and called the police when he left his car sitting back there in the neighborhood. The police stole his car. He never did go get it. They were going to try to put all kind of impound fees on him, made it impossible for him to afford to get out. Just basically took his fucking car from him. Man, I'm sorry. It's not the voltage, man, it's the amps. That's what was happening with me. It was just sucking so many amps that my light bulbs, my headlights at night would be like dim, da-dim to the beat, dim, dim, da-dim, dim, dim, da-dim, dim, dim, da-dim, dim. And that'll get you fucking, you get at a fucking intersection and a cop sees that shit and he's gonna fucking turn around and probably come pull you over. That's why I went and got in, I had to go do something about it. How does it not pull from alternator, making it weak? Or do you have the capacitor? Man, I didn't have no capacitors. The only thing I had in my system was something to try to, shit, I had several. Like the noise filters that you put in line. I even had a damn choke that I made with a bolt and a bunch of wire. Yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you're doing. You're just pulling your power, your audio power's coming from your second battery, but then the alternator keeps both batteries charged. So you're never using the battery of the automobile system. So you'll never have your lights flashing. I see what you're saying. Man, it's been so long since I rode around and listened to music. That was a big thing with me and my buddy. I had a running partner from the time I was 14. Well, I ran around until I was about 17. I started really paying more attention after I turned 17. By the time I was 18, I started learning scales and I got into a band. I started spending my time with music instead of running the streets. So me and Rodney rode around for years listening to music, smoking weed and listening to music. And fucking cutting brodies and donuts and all kind of shit, man. Leaving black. This around here where I live, man, back 40 years ago, every damn road around this motherfucker had black marks on it. Nobody around here drives like that anymore. There's more people around here encroached than there was rural then. It's like when I went back then, I really didn't like it. It was so rural, but then when I got used to it, now it's not like it was. I don't go out of the house no more, really. I stay isolated. I asked the universe to get me away from fucking retards, and it did. Not around none of them. And people in that town are crazy too, man. I've been hearing about people say Shreveport is Ratchet City. You're not of the body, Landrew? Man, I had a Marantz 10 band EQ and just a little old fucking, fuck, I can't even, Pyramid. The last amp I had didn't even have, I had it all up in my closet so that when I did get ready to put system in my car, I had something. I had a 250 by 250 Pyramid that I bought at a truckload sale, and all the wiring harnesses and the filters and that Marantz EQ, and I forgot what kind of radio I had. It was pretty nice. It was a cassette, and it did have Dolby. That's one of the reasons why I had that radio. I wanted a radio, and it had high bias and metal. People just don't do that no more. That used to be a big thing, man, ride around and listen to music. Well, when I was a baby in the late 60s, people used to ride around and drink. Because when I was a kid, there was so much busted glass in the road. And more people walked barefooted. If they weren't walking barefooted, they might have sandals. But more people walked barefooted when I was 4 or 5 years old. And there was more glass busted in the road when I was 4 or 5 years old. Like people would ride around and drink whiskey, drink beer, drink wine, and throw their bottles out, bust them. Everywhere was busted glass. I think when Coke bottles went to plastic in the late 70s was probably one of the best, put a stop to a lot of busted glass. Yeah, nobody rides around listening to music anymore either. It used to be a thing to do. Roster route and listen to music. But then that kind of music, thinking man's music, kind of went away too. Now it's nothing but noise. People say heavy metal and can't sing. And fuck, I hate to even be associated with metal. Because it's got such crap. It was just a barrage of noise, if you ask me. You can't listen into music anymore. It's not enjoyable. It don't take you places. You had to listen to some of that old Pink Floyd to take you places, or old Rush or something to take you places. And I done been all them places. I don't even listen to it anymore. I was listening to Pink Floyd the other day. I'm kind of burnt on all of it. I think that, oh man, I need to listen to what I like. But I listen to it and it just don't make me happy no more. Not like it did when I was young. I don't even really listen to Black Sabbath anymore because it don't make Kiss. I don't listen to Kiss anymore really because it don't make me happy no more. After reading all the drama, see, when I first started listening to Kiss, that's when the drama was starting. That's when Ace wouldn't show up for work. That's when Peter wouldn't show up for work. You know? They weren't, those two guys, like Ace, all those times you heard he was a no-show, and what it was is deep inside, he just wasn't ready, man. When he feels the spirit inside him, like I'm the same way. When I feel the spirit inside, get out of my way, I'm going to get this shit done. But I'm not fixing to make a move until I feel it. Why go out here and half-ass something? I don't feel like it. It's not going to be as good. When I got my mind made up it's going to be good, get out of the way. See, Ace had to learn later, damn, I need to go to work. His mom, I talked to her a couple times. I used to call him on the phone, Esther. She just wasn't too happy with him because she knew how he was. She knew he was like that. He won't work. He was working, though. That's what makes me cry. When he died, I cried. He was working, man, and died. The dude was working. He was like Gene and Paul. Gene and Paul were, it's like, besides the guitar, that's what turned me on, the sound of the guitar. And it's not them. It was the engineers that made those tracks sound pleasing. Gene and Paul are like Ice Cube, man. Workers. Work. They didn't quit, man. 50 fucking years. They work. They weren't going to quit. That's what I admire about Gene and Paul. They were workers. Ice Cube, I like him too. He's a worker. He's all the time working. He got something going. If he's not doing his rap music, he's doing his basketball. If he's not doing his basketball, he needs to be back in the movies. He needs to be, somebody needs to get together and let's throw some capital in, make a good movie, we can make some money. He's always ended up working for movies for somebody else. And they're the ones in control. He don't really get any step ahead, except when he writes his own. Then there's so many movies out there, scripts that are just sitting. And there's so many movies out there that are sitting in a can collecting dust in a warehouse that just never got famous, never even showed. There's movies out there, even got some famous actors that probably never even showed the movie. So if you think I'm going to come up with an idea with a movie, they got them. They got scripts, and they got movies in the can already filmed, and you talking about making one. A lot of those movies are made with somebody's capital that they got so much money, they do good by getting rid of money. And that's where most of those movies come from. People that's got a whole lot of money that they need to get rid of some of it so that it don't cost them money. And they whammy the money around to where it can be used as an investment. See, that's like Elon. Oh, he's so rich. That motherfucker owns a bunch of debt. Elon's rich. He's got a lot of debt, though. He's got an in and out box on his desk. He's got money coming in. Every time a rocket launches, takes a satellite to space, he gets paid. But he's got a goddamn outbox of fucking people he owes money to, fucking 10 times as high as his inbox. People don't realize that. That motherfucker, he bought debt. See, when you buy debt, when you don't pay a tax on debt. So he went to bank and bought somebody's debt, man. He owns their assets from all their debt, but he don't pay a tax on it. You got all the assets that's involved with what he bought, but you don't have to pay taxes on it because it's debt. That's what I understand. I just remember, y'all, I'm running down reading it. I get 212 seat and still have the space in back seat. That's all I have to take out back seat. Man, from what I understand, the smaller the load on solid state amp, the better. Solid state likes to see a small load, load. I mean, if the amp will go down to 2, set it at 2. Yeah, car audio nowadays is amazing. It's beyond my scope. I used to be all into it when I was a teenager. Glenn Fricker says, you want to get a better sound, upgrade your speakers. Well, fuck, we always knew that way back in the 70s. You want a better sound, you fucking put better speakers in. The same way with pickups. I ain't gonna be trying to record no metal album on no fucking Rickenbacker. No Tysco Del Rey. You could. One of the best pickups I ever heard. My friend of mine he was left-handed. He had a Joe Pass, a Gibson Joe Pass with a JB pickup. It only had one pickup. And he had a Seymour Duncan JB in it. Well, I'm right-handed. I had to flip his guitar upside down. Then I had to like refinger the chords. Once I got going, man, remembering how to put my fingers, okay, these chords are backwards, just finger it. I could play the guitar. I started playing on it, picking it and playing my scales backwards and shit. And that Seymour Duncan JB pickup, it'll do everything. It does country. I was cleaning the amp up, was trying to pluck around on it, and it sounds like country. If you want to play like a clean classical type sound, it sounds like that. Real pretty. And you want to do metal, it does metal. You do the rock and roll, it does the rock and roll. It does it all, man. The Seymour Duncan JB, I was amazed with that pickup. And I've played on a Duncan Custom, and it's pretty cool. I mean, for rock and roll, it sounded good. I'm a DiMarzio guy myself. Years ago, I had a Bill Lawrence in my DiMarzio Strat. It has a good sing. When you get the note singing, it will hold it. Pickups do matter to me. All these Chinese guitars I bought, they got that gold pickup. That's somebody screams. Got some kind of scream in it. Wants the feedback. You can't turn your amps up. You start turning them up, you're gonna get a forever eternal scream out of those gold pickups. They suck. Now, if you're just sitting there with the amp at a low volume, and you could stand right, sit on a chair or whatever right in front of the amp at a low volume with those cheap Chinese pickups, and they kind of got that old raspy dime store humbucker sound. They kind of sound like an old humbucker to me. But then again, you pull out a real Gibson up next to it, and you're going to really hear the sound of a real Gibson. It's not going to be the same as the sound of them Chinese pickups. They got a good sound for being like a relic type sound. The Chinese pickup sounds good like a relic sound, but when you put a real Gibson up, that old Gibson pickup, play guitar right next to that Chinese guitar, you can tell that Chinese guitar sounds fake. Sounds like a dime store. My first guitar was a Kent SG. It had that dime store type pickup in it. My first electric, my first acoustic. My first guitar was acoustic. Well, usually Matt will come over on the weekends. I ain't heard from him. He got his new Kramer. He's gonna change over the hardware to black. He bought a Fender Twin from somebody. Somebody got a Fender Twin. They were doing some work at one of the high schools, and he saw the fucking Fender Twin at the school. And he asked one of them teachers about it. No, either he was doing the work at the school or he was doing the work at their house. Anyway, the amp came from the school. It was a 1974 Fender Twin. And Matt bought it for $450, like a dummy. He get it home, and the normal channel sounds like 5 watts. And the vibrato reverb channel don't work at all. And I told him, bring it over here. It's probably got some internal fuses. If not, we might need to change some tubes. That's what I told him. I said, we need to go through all them tubes. Go inside, see if a fuse ain't bad. Straighten the wiring up if we can. I said, yeah, we might need to straighten the wiring up when we get in there. Fuck it, leave it all fucking like it is. That's why it sounds the way it sounds. I don't think you're gonna make it sound any better straightening the wiring up. Yeah, I always watch MeTV on Saturday night to watch Star Trek. I'm sorry, guys, I wasn't scrolling. Man, one time I was in town. I was at a red light. It was like 2 highway lanes going one way, and it was a road going across. And somebody on the other side going the opposite direction was sitting at the red light. It's like a Firebird or something, man. And I turned my music down because I could hear them playing Boston across the intersection, and it sounded good. I reached over, turned my music down, man, and they were jamming it sounded so good that it was up in my van, sounded like I was just right there at the concert. Not necessarily concert level, but it was just loud and sounded good. They were playing Boston. It made me, I'm gonna reach over and turn my shit off. Listen to that. That shit sounded good, man. Once the light changed, he went by, I waved, hey man. But yeah, I was impressed. I kept telling myself, and it wasn't no boom, boom, boom bullshit either. Fuck that boom, boom, boom. That ain't music. Shit. Unless you're listening to Geezer Butler. Yeah, they were jamming Boston. That was like full range of everything, all the way across the spectrum. It was just like it was up in my fucking cab. Like my jams. It was like I said, I had my jams on. I was running a dual 80, which was enough to fucking turn up in my van and and hear. I'm not trying to play to that motherfucker across the intersection. I don't need that many. Well, I need my clarity in my ride. I don't need clarity for the motherfucker over there. That's a fucking somebody that lacks attention and wants attention. The way the weed laws are now, man, it ain't no big deal. But you used to be, man. You want to draw a bunch of attention to yourself. You better not have no weed on you. Before cops pull you over. Man, I just won't quit. I still got another Chinese guitar coming. I'm a sucker for more work. Well, fuck it. We'll get these guitars all hot rod and turn around and sell them. There's a music store downtown. He's selling them Chinese guitars $400 all day long. And he's not faking them. He's not passing them off as Gibsons. He's fucking got a sign. It's a replica. And people are buying them all day long. My friend Matt keeps sending me pictures. He just sold this one. You need to hurry up, boy. Okay, Dale, man, I'm sorry, man. I kept you up that late. I don't even know what time it is. Sunday morning. You got to work on Sunday. That's cool. When you go to work in the morning, probably won't be nobody on the highway. That's one cool thing about it. Working on a weekend. Whenever I had to go to the theater on a Sunday or Saturday morning too, man. Had to be at the theater on Saturday or Sunday. Sunday's automatic time and a half. Yeah, man. Early, it was always cool going to the theater, going to a gig early on a Saturday morning because there was nobody fucking on the highways. Not as many as a Monday. I could goddamn go all the way down I-49, not nobody. Well, I would always go early. We go to work is at 8. And by union rules, be there by 7:30. Well, hell, I had to leave the house by 6:30. If I waited till 7 o'clock, the highway leading into town, it would be backed up and I would be fucked. So I would always leave early. I was the kind of guy, the whole time I worked at the union hall, I was the first one on the gig, always. First one on the gig, and hey, we're fixing to lock the door. Where's Hadley? He's out there looking out in the house, standing at the foot of the stage in the dark with the ghost light on. Come on, Hadley, what are you doing? I was the first one here this morning. I'll be the last one left. Always was. Always was. Look, come time to go to work, and I'm not there, everybody freaks out. Where's Hadley? Is you the first one here? Something must be wrong. He's not here. Man, one time my alarm went off. Man, I was so tired. My alarm went off and I was just sleeping right through it. And by the time I woke up, looked at that alarm, it said 7 o'clock. I was like, fuck, I live 26 miles from work. I got to fight all that traffic. All I could do was jump out of bed, put my clothes on, and get in my car and go. And but it was almost 8 o'clock, damn near when I got there. It wasn't quite 8, but I was fucking not early, not like normal. Everybody was freaking out. Damn, you're usually the first one here, and you're not here. Everybody's worried about you. Plus, it'd be a breach of contract if I didn't show up. It'd fuck it all up for everybody. I know quite a few. I've seen quite a few motherfuckers not show up on a gig. Sorry ass bastards. Fuck shit up. Like at Miss USA, it's like a $80,000 payroll, and some bitch don't show up. Fucking breach of contract. We were always lucky though. No one ever tried to take us to court. When I was there, 11 years I spent. I don't know what to talk about, man. Dara Noonan, hello, 2488. Hello, man. It's good to see you. Man, the longest gig I worked was 20. We started at 5:30 in the morning. I didn't get out of there till 9:30 the next morning. It was a UFC show. You know, Ultimate Fighting Championship or UFC, where where they do the fucking martial arts, MMA, mixed martial arts. Man, that gig from the morning when we started, as soon as the deck got built and all the decking was built, the pyro people started it in. They probably started in about 9 o'clock, 9:30. And them pyro guys wired pyro all fucking day long. They were emptying their warehouse. And all the way up till the show started, those guys were wiring up pyro. And then I was on the headset running spotlight during the show, and they were talking about the arena has ventilation system, fans up in the roof. They had made sure they turned them on ahead of time. And then they started that pyro at that show. That pyro, it was like all the Kiss concerts there ever was. That pyro rolled about 20 minutes, man. I ain't never seen so much goddamn fireworks. Every fucking Kiss show there ever was in that UFC. They were, like I said, they were whoever bought the pyro contract, they paid the pyro company to come in. That pyro company got their money and emptied their warehouse. Got rid of every fucking explosive they had and got paid. They made their money. It's a good deal. It's a good deal because, hey, we got our money. We get rid of all this shit. We ain't got to worry about storing this shit no more. We burn all this shit up and we just got paid. Like I said, the ceiling started filling up with smoke, and the smoke was, as it was filling up over a period of time, the smoke was slowly like coming down out of the top of the ceiling, and they had the fans on. I kept telling them over the headset, I said, look here, man, that smoke's coming down. If it gets down to where I'm going to be breathing that smoke, I'm fixing to come down off my spotlight. Y'all better fucking do something. Y'all better turn the fans on. It ain't a good idea to do that. Pop all them fireworks inside that building like that. All that fucking smoke. Fuck, anywhere, like right now, that place is old. Anywhere there's fucking spider webs and dust up there, that smoke will get collected. All the nitrates and carbons will get collected in all them spider webs. I'm trying to think. I don't think I know of any other gigs I work with that many more fireworks. Not that I can think of. See, when I was a stagehand, there really wasn't no rock and roll. When I went to high school, it was Beaver Productions, and they had a lot of rock shows all the time. Well, Beaver Productions is no longer. And by the time I was a stagehand, there was no rock bands coming to Shreveport hardly. As a matter of fact, when Van Halen did that thing at the Hearst, I never knew about it till after I became, probably about after 8 or 9 or 10 years after I become a stagehand, and I was talking to somebody and come to find out, 2 guys that I work with that are older than me, I found out about that Van Halen. Nobody knew that Van Halen was here for 2 weeks. And I didn't know, and I lived on the streets. I didn't know till somebody told me. And then come to find out, two guys I worked with went on tour with him. Tony Martin, he went on tour with him for audio, and Rick Mason went on tour with him for lighting. And Rick was one of my lighting guys in the theater for years. He was always head electric, and I always was one of his hands. He liked me because he could say, Hadley, I need you to go in the doghouse here, take this. I want you to go up there. Every time I send you, no problem. I know I got it going on when I send you. Sometimes they'd send me up to the doghouse to take two little, like, permit hands that they needed to fill the call, like two girls or something. And, they might have worked a gig maybe. I'd take them up there. I'm up there doing all the fucking work anyway. They might hand me something if I ask them to. Oh, I know what I can talk about. Working up at the municipal auditorium. I've had 3 ghost encounters. I was told one of the first times I ever worked up there, one of them city employees came down. We were doing some stuff down in the basement. The gig was upstairs. It was already completed. So we were just there. They said, y'all need to go down there and do something about all them risers down in the basement and get them out of the way. Throw some broke ones, throw them away or whatever. And while we were down there, the city employee that was down there, he'd come down there with us. He was leaving. And as he left, he went back through the rest of the building down in the basement. And before he walked through the door, he said, y'all watch out for this ghost. I said, wait a second. I started quizzing him. He said, I said, well, you seen it? He said, no, but another employee's seen it before. I said, what does it look like? He said, it looks like a construction worker. I said, what do you mean? He's just dressed in blue jeans or whatever. It looks like somebody on a construction job. I seen that ghost later, years later. I seen that ghost. He let me see him. It fucking tripped me out because I was just told, Hadley, the doors are not coming open till we get our checks. Nobody is supposed to be in here. And then the flyman said, yeah, there's already people out front. And we weren't doing that. We were finished. We were set up, ready to go, waiting on God to get them get a check so we open the front doors and do the show. And when the flyman said there's already people out front, I asked my boss, I said, hey, man, I'm going to go to the lobby. And he goes, what for? I said, I want to see who all was out there. He said, why you want to do that? I said, because when I used to go to rock shows, I couldn't wait. I was one of the first people out front. I want to see who these ultimate diehard people are. There was about 30 people there. Well, anyway, I was left out stage right, went through the backstage door, went out into the hallway, was walking down the hallway, and I passed a staircase. And I'm tall, and when I walk, I'll walk. I'm slow down. At the mall, you got to run to keep up with me. And as I went by that staircase, I saw this motherfucker out of the corner of my eye, and I did the brakes. And I jumped back, and I said, hey. But when I jumped back and turned my head, he wasn't there. I said, hey, you're not supposed to be there. Ain't nobody supposed to be here. And I run up the stairs, and you can ask any of them boys that used to work with me who can run up the stairs the fastest. They'll tell you, Hadley, can't nobody beat Hadley up the stairs. I run up them fucking stairs just like as fast as I could go. Got up on the upstairs hallway, nowhere. I checked the first room, nowhere. Walked into the house, nowhere. Ran down the hallway, nowhere. And then the city employee, I went and told my boss what just happened. And they were fucking tripping how I had fucking goosebumps on my arms. This was a black man. He was wearing like coveralls. Like he had coveralls on. Like blue jean coveralls. He had like a blue jean jacket, like square cut jacket, like from the 20s, and he had a straw hat on, and he had a bandana around his neck. He was big like a lumberjack. And like I said, I was going past that staircase, and I saw him out of the corner of my eye, and I fucking stopped just as I got past the staircase, and I jumped back, and I turned, hey, and he wasn't there. That blew my mind, man. He couldn't have gone up them he was on the half landing. The stairs went up one way to a half landing and turned and went back up the other way to the second hallway upstairs, upstairs hallway. He was on that landing when I walked by, and I stopped, turned back, and he wasn't there. That fucking freaked me out. That was like the second time I had an encounter. I've had 3. One of them I could never see him. Could never see him. I was up on a fucking A-frame ladder and working on a light. When I went, they said, Hadley, we're going to have to move all this equipment off the stage and bring that pipe in so you can adjust that light. Or if you can make you some room and get the A-frame in here and you can reach it from the A-frame and adjust it. And I started looking, and I said, man, I don't want to tear the drums and the keyboards and all that shit back down out of the way. I just kind of like found me a little spot, moved a few things, got me some helpers and got that ladder in there and built it up. And when I went up the ladder to the light, I said to myself, okay, this is a hanging pipe. Don't fucking touch the light as much as possible. Because you start fucking putting your hands all over this goddamn light, you're going to get that pipe swinging. And then when the pipe's swinging, you're never going to get a focus. So as I was just barely starting to touch the light, it was like somebody was down there on the other end of the pipe, and they were working a light down there. It's what, because whenever you get on a pipe and you're working it, if somebody's working a light down there, it starts jerking the pipe all around. You go to reach out to grab something, and the whole pipe's moved. The whole light's moved out of where you reached. And you're like, hey, man, you're fucking me up. Well, it started swinging all around like somebody, like one of my friends, Sid. I said, man, who's on the other end of that pipe? And they said, nobody. I said, who's on the pin rail? Because the pipe was like where the pin rail was over the plies. And nobody. I said, man, I swear it's like Sid's on the other end of this pipe. I said, look, when I went up the ladder, I said, the first thing I said is just barely touch this light. I said, I go to barely touch it, and all of a sudden the pipe's all jerking all around like somebody's on the other end working it. That freaked me out because I kept looking down. I couldn't ever see nobody. I'd steady the pipe, get it all steady again, and I'd start to fucking work again, and that goddamn pipe would get to moving like somebody was down there they working on that down there. You know? That tripped me out. That's the one I couldn't see. I know damn good and well it was a spirit. A lot of people hang out in that motherfucker. And it was used as a morgue during the yellow fever or red fever or some kind of epidemic back during the Spanish Civil War. A lot of people's died up in that place. Down in the basement was where the morgue was, and the room was all painted blue. It's still got all the stuff in there. Like, it ain't got all the mortician shit in it, but there's still the room with the cabinets and the table and everything's in there. Man, I don't really know what I could talk about, man. I mean, like a lot of things in my life, man, happened to me and I didn't even ask for. Like this one gig, I worked with Ray Charles, and it was just me and my business agent that did the gig, and we had a sound man for the show, but we went in there the day before, and me and him stripped the stage and we took curtains down, we moved curtains, we added drops, we focused lights, and like he did flies, I did the load rail. Then I'd come back down and we'd load the pipe. Then I'd go back up and he'd go to the fly rail, and I'd go back up to the load rail, and I'd load the cradle and he'd pull the pipes up, and we got it all set. Then the next day, Ray shows up. We've got all the decks out there, the platforms all dressed up, ready to go. Next day, Ray shows up. It's just me and him, me and Bill. And I asked the road guy, I said, what's he like? He goes, you want to meet him? I said, oh, no, I can't. Oh, yeah, Ray likes to meet people. And he introduced me to Ray. And from then on out, he told me, hey, man, during the soundtrack, you just sit up here by Ray and talk to him. He wants to talk to you. I talked to that man about 3 hours. Well, except when he was playing, I wasn't talking to him. God damn, this motherfucking can jam, man. He is the most awesomest person in the world. He's fucking with me. He said, how do I look? I said, you looking good. He said, yeah, they cut my hair and everything, but how do I look? I said, you look good. He said, is my hair gray? I said, no. I said, they got it colored. It's black. He said, how old do I look? I told him, I said, 48. He said, he looked at me, he looked at me. He said, Hadley, quit lying. I said, okay, 54. Hadley, I'm an 84-year-old man, is what he told me. I said, Ray, they got you fixed. I said, Ray, I was born in 63. Remember how them albums you used to put out in the late 50s and the early 60s? I said, you look just like you did in the picture on them albums. They got you looking just like that, Ray. You do. You look just like you did on your albums in the late 50s. But his hair was kind of blued. You know, they had black dye in his hair. His hair was all cut. He was the awesomest person. You know, just awesome. He was asking me all kinds of questions. I would have never, when I was a child, if you'd have said, Hadley, you're going to grow up and meet Ray Charles and work with him, I read a spotlight during the show. It was just Bill on stage and me in the spotlight, and the sound man, he set up his sound downstage left, right off the wing, out of everybody's way. And damn, Ray Charles can jam, man. Like, I remember one song, it was during rehearsal. He like ended it on a note and started the next song, and both the grooves, they weren't the exact same groove, the two songs, but the grooves were similar. And it's like when he rolled out of one and into the next, man, that was like one of the most awesomest. I mean, like there wasn't a segue, but it was an awesome segue because you could tell how the beat of the melody changed, but yet they were similar beats and similar melodies. I wish I had just those two songs to listen to. You know, one day I had to show up. This is a trip too. This was 2007. I had a ballet gig at the theater, and I show up at 8 o'clock, and my business agent Bill, he's dead now too. That same guy that I worked Ray with. He said, Hadley, you're going to do lighting today. I came in early. I already pulled all your lights. They were downstage left, all those lights over there. I said, and it was he told me this when it was right before 8 o'clock. I told him, I said, well, I'm going to walk over here and look and see what you got. He goes, here's your paperwork. You got no problem with that, do you? I said, no, man, that's cool. All right, so I'm over there looking at my lights. And there was this big heavyset guy hanging around. And I didn't know who he was, man. I had no clue who this guy was. While I'm over there, when 8 o'clock came, all right, let's go to work. Next thing I know, he's bringing that big heavyset guy over there to me. He goes, Hadley, this is Joey Diaz. He was in town working the casino, doing some gigs at the casino, and he called the hall to see if there was any work, and I put him on this gig. I'm going to let him work with you today. You take care of him. I didn't know who Joey Diaz was. You know, my boss said he was a comedian and an actor. I just knew he was a comedian and actor. I'd never seen his routine, didn't know who he was, nothing. And we worked all day, you know. He's a pretty quiet guy, you know. And we got ready to go to lunch. Some of them boys jumped in my van. And I was fixing to back out, and I looked. Joey was standing out by the backstage door. I said, wait a second. I said, Joey, you going to go eat? No, I'm saving my money. I said, I told my friend Randy, the flyman, he was in a shotgun. I said, Randy, roll your window down, because Randy's window was on where he was. I was on the left-hand side. I was on too far left to talk to him out my window. I said, tell him I'll buy him a hamburger and a Coke. He said, oh, that's okay. I said, no, man, this is the best. I said, I got out of my van. I said, Joey, and I'm hauling across the grass down to the backstage door. We're out in the parking lot. I said, Joey, this is the best thing is to go get a meal right now. This is the best time of the day to go get that meal so that when you come back in the theater, man, you won't be hungry. You'll be all right. I'm going to buy you a hamburger. He wouldn't even smoke. We go on our smoke run. He didn't even want to smoke. I cannot believe that. He said he was trying to get off cocaine at the time. He was fixing to catch a bus that night. When he got ready to leave, I gave him $5. I said, look here, man, I rode back from California. It took 3 goddamn days to get back to Louisiana. That fucking bus ride sucks. I hate it. I hate it for you. I hate that I know you fixing to get on that motherfucker. I said, look here, so you can save your money that you earned at the casino. He said he was married and fixing to have a baby at the time, or he just had a baby. I was thinking she might have been 2 or 3, maybe. See, I didn't know who he was. It wasn't until I went home and I told my dad, I said, guess what, Dad? I worked with an actor and a comedian today. He goes, oh, yeah, who was it? I said, Joey Diaz. My dad stopped, paused for a second. Said, you mean Joey Diaz, the comedian? I said, yeah, well, that's what they said. His name's Joey Diaz, and he's a comedian and an actor. My dad started shaking his head, said, oh, no, you don't need to be hanging out with Joey Diaz. I said, why not? He said, because like you, he's a delinquent. The two of y'all end up getting in trouble. I said, well, I didn't know who he was, Dad. They just told me he was an actor and a comedian. I didn't know who he was. It wasn't until COVID that I saw Joey's routine. I saw Joey on Joe Rogan. And look, man, yeah, I could tell this story too, man. I met Cat Williams back in '83. It was a trip because when I met him, I told Cat Williams I said, man, there's something special about you. I don't know why. I'm a Sagittarius. And I just feel it in my heart. There's something about you. You different, special. Something about you, man. When they made you, I've been told this before, Hadley, when they made you, they broke the mold. And that's what I told him. I said, something, I feel it, I could feel it in my chest when I met him. See, I was sitting in jail doing some parish time, or county time. Where you live in a county, I live in a parish, same thing. I was doing 90 days on a 6-month charge. And one day we weren't working. And I was sitting in a dorm, it's like 35 guys. And I'm sitting on a silver stainless steel picnic table at the front of the dorm. The showers are behind me, the toilets are behind me, and the sinks are by the front door. Anyway, it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock. We didn't work that day. I don't know why. Can't remember why. The guards bring somebody in, black dude, bring him in. He's got his mattress all made up and everything, all his prison issue inside, all rolled up in his mattress. And he comes in, he throws it down on the other end of the picnic table I'm sitting on. And he sat down with his back to the dorm. But before he looked around, I'm raising my eyeballs I'm sitting there reading a book on the very edge, opposite edge of that picnic table. And I raised my eyes, I look around and I raised my eyes and I watched him. I just looked up and watched him. He checked his 6. He looked around behind his back. He's checking his 6, And I looked around to make sure nobody was looking at me. And I told him, I said, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. I said, I'm facing that way. I told him, I said, I'm facing that way. I'll keep an eye out. I said, besides, there ain't nobody gonna fuck with you in here like that. There ain't nobody gonna sneak up behind you. There ain't nobody in here like that I can tell that I found so far. See, I was doing push-ups all day long with that motherfucker. None of them roguish niggas in there wanted to fuck with me. Anyway, about 20 minutes after he come in there, the guard came back in there. The guard said, Cat Williams, real loud and deep like that, Cat Williams. And he jumped up and grabbed all his shit. And the guard said, you don't need all your stuff. You just need your badge. You're going to the front. And they left. And about 25 minutes later, he come back in there. And when he came in, he went to go sit back down. I told him when he got ready to leave, I said, ain't nobody, he was worried about all the shit. I said, man, ain't nobody gonna fuck with your shit. You leave it right there. If somebody comes over here and fucks with your shit, I'll say something to him. He came back in. I said, Cat Williams. He said, that's my name. What about it? I said, nothing about it, man. I ain't trying to make nothing about your name. I said that just all my life, I ain't never met. I'm saying this real quiet. Now, I look around, make sure nobody else was looking at me, minding my business. This was a conversation I was having with him. And I always would look up and make sure nobody else had their nose in my business when I talked to him. I told him, I said, in all my life, I said, I ain't never met nobody that named their child Cat. I said, now I go to the rock clubs. I don't go to clubs to drink. I don't go to rock clubs to chase no ass. I go to rock clubs to see the guitar player because I'm a guitar player. I like to watch the band and watch the guitar player. I like to learn as much as I can. I said, but I know all the girls at the club. And I said, a couple of them girls, now they may call themselves Cat, but their mom, I don't think their mom and daddy named them Cat. And I asked him, C-A-T? And he told me, no, K-A-T-T. And I said, that's even more. I grabbed my chest. I could feel it like I went off a roller coaster when he told me that. I said, that's even more unique. And I said, man, there's something special about you. And come to find out what it was is that he was up at this whorehouse. It's like 83, 84. He was up in Oklahoma working at some kind of whorehouse. And there was this girl up there. I asked him about it. Well, when he come back in, some of them roguish niggas was accusing him of being a snitch. This is how we got friendly, how he gained my trust. They started accusing him of being a snitch, and I spoke up. I said, snitch? I said, the motherfucker just walked in here a while ago. I said it real loud where everybody in the dorm could hear me. I said, this motherfucker just walked in here a while ago. What the fuck are y'all doing in here? That motherfucking inmate just walked in the door. He's a snitch. What are y'all doing that needs to be snitched on anyway? And there better not be nobody snitching on no weed smoking go around here. You're going to check out this motherfucker. One of them roguish niggers kind of spoke up in my favor. Said, yeah, that white boy's right. That black boy ain't done nothing. He ain't snitched on nobody. I asked him, I said, where'd you go? He said, I went to talk to my lawyer. And Cat told me, see, there was this girl up there at that horse. She was kind of young, underage. He said, Hadley, she wasn't made for it. And she was all crying and didn't nobody give a fuck. There wasn't nobody up there gave a damn about that girl. They were just going to use her any kind of goddamn way they was using her. And he said, Hadley, she wasn't made for it. And she was all psychologically, emotionally fucked up. He said, didn't nobody give a fuck about her? He said, I asked her, is there any place you can go? And she said that all her people was in Shreveport. He was bringing that girl back to Shreveport. They got him, pulled him over in the middle of the night on 169, got him for like a tail light. His license plate light was out. That's why they pulled him over. Then they got him out of state. Inspection sticker, Oklahoma, no good, no insurance. And they got him on a statutory rape because he had an underage girl in the middle of the night. So what happened after he talked to his lawyer, I asked him about it. He said that the prosecuting attorney and the judge and his lawyer and that girl's grandmother and that girl's aunt were going to all meet and have a discussion. And they got that shit straight, that he wasn't no statutory rape. He was bringing that girl back home because he wasn't getting her out of the fucking whorehouse. And he ended up he was there that next weekend, because I told my dad that night on the phone. I talked to my dad on the phone. I said, we got a new black dude in here named Cat Williams. My dad scoffed. And then when we had a visiting day and my dad came to visit me that Saturday, I said, there's that black dude to come in. My dad kind of scoffed at, name Cat. Being black and named Cat, somebody's going to scoff. But there was something about that dude. Okay, so COVID comes. My friend Matt brings Cat Williams, the comedian, in my living room. And it was for years. I just thought this guy was funny as shit. Didn't recognize him. Didn't know. It didn't strike a clue. And then I watched him on the Club Shay Shay show. And it was like a 4-hour and 35-minute video on YouTube called Club Shay Shay. And Cat Williams is on there. He tells his whole life story. And in 83, he was at a whorehouse up in Oklahoma. And that right there is when I put the pieces together. I said, God damn, I met that dude when he come down here. He was bringing that girl back to Shreveport and got arrested. Damn. Okay. So like he come in on like a Monday or Tuesday. And then like I said, that Saturday, he was there. I think he was out of there by that next Tuesday. After he left, I was kind of sad. I mean, I was glad the dude got out of jail. To see somebody come in there and see they're in like a silly predicament and they're not really a criminal. And you finally meet a good person while you're in there. And then when they get out, you kind of feel lonesome. Like, damn, I just met that dude. He was pretty cool. Now he's gone. Look, it was funny because right over in the corner where I sleep, I had a whole corner over there on the left hand, farthest from the front door. In my corner, there was a bunk. This guy had been gone 4 days. I told Cat, I said, you see that bunk right back there? I said, that's a bunk you can go there. What if I don't want to sleep there? I told him on that wall down the front wall where all the road niggas was, I said, well, look down there. You see that empty bunk at the very end down there in the corner? I'm sure they'll let you sleep down there if you want to. He said, I'll just sleep right here on this picnic table. I said, oh yeah, you may go to sleep on that picnic table. I said, but when the guards come in for a count every hour, they gonna tell you got to get a bunk. And if you refuse to get a bunk, you just go back up front and they'll lock you up on the steel. So he ended up getting that one down there. But I told him, I said, that's my corner. I said, that's my corner. If anybody fucks with you, look, 2 niggas them roguish motherfuckers did come over here and fuck with him in the night. And they woke me up. And I told them, if I have to come off this bunk, we're going to go to steel. And when we go to steel, I'm going to really goddamn get down. And it wasn't this other black dude that was older than me that slept beside me, down below me. He said something to them 2 niggas too. He said, y'all better get on out of here. And that's when they did get on out of there. But man, I was like seriously fixing to goddamn go to Kung Fu Town on these motherfuckers. None of them niggas worked out. I was doing fucking 50 handstand push-ups a day. I was doing 25 when I woke up, 25 before breakfast, 25 after breakfast, 25 before halfway between breakfast and lunch, 25 before lunch, 25 after lunch, 25 between lunch and supper, 25 before supper, 25 after supper, 25 before shower, 25 after shower, 25 before bed. And any time in between, I started doing handstand push-ups. Started out with 1. I did do 1, shake it off and do 1. Then I did 3. Couple days later, I do 3 all day, do 3. Then I did 5. It got to where somebody said, I bet you can't do 50. You want to bet that milk in the morning? That motherfucker was putting that milk on my tray in the morning because I did 50. Then he acted like, I can do that. I said, you want me to hold your feet? No, I can do that. The first one he did, he raised up and he fell down on his head. I told him, I said, look, I told you you need to let me hold your feet. You went right up and then you fell down on your fucking head, you dummy. That's why I wanted to hold your fucking feet so you wouldn't hurt yourself. You end up breaking your fucking neck, fool. This is way back for him. And all they had back then was tough man contests. They didn't have no mixed martial arts. Jiu-jitsu was about one of the most mixed martial arts there was. What are you doing, Nosy? You woke up? Don't spill my ashtray, fool. Nosy, what's up, Nosy? You gonna say hi? Nosy. Oh, Nosy. How are you? Man, you know, this is not the channel that I wanted to have. What I wanted to have is I need a big room, like a 30 by 30. And I wanted to build an actual broadcast station where on one side of the room I have a deck with curtains and backdrop and put the drums and have bands come in and play. Local bands. And transmit it on YouTube. Like Wayne's World. But my idea was to have it like a Johnny Carson interview area off to the right. The cameras go to the middle of the room. Around the room, around the cameras would be like couches or whatever for maybe audience to sit, visitors, very VIP, production or whoever. And then off to the right would be like a Johnny Carson, where you got the desk and the chairs and the backdrop and the curtains and the lights on that for the interview. Then over on the left, I'm going to have the podium, where it could be the judge or the Pope or Hitler or the police sergeant or whatever, the president or whatever. Stand up at the podium. Or the preacher or the Pope or whatever, the rabbi or whatever. That's what I want. Because see, a friend of mine that I used to work with, bless his heart, he's gone now, Sid. He used to be on broadcaster.com and he had a half basement in his house. And I used to take my Marshall and my Frankenstrat over there and jam with him. And he would broadcast it on Broadcaster. We had people in Australia, Argentina, Oklahoma, England, Canada, all kinds of people watching this jam, man. And that's what gave me the idea. I was like, well, this is like Wayne's World, man. We need to actually build a studio just for that. And then here in this town, like the Shreveport Arts Council, Shreveport Regional Arts Council. All I got to do is call those people. They'd get the word out. I could have every band around here that would want to participate coming in and playing. That wouldn't be no problem. It would be like no one's doing it, see? That's just it. No one in this town is doing that. Hell, if I was to really get with the art council and tell them, they would provide me with a place to do that. But I want to be able to put my bed over in the corner of the room. And I need a bath. And I'll make a kitchenette. I just need one big giant room. That's all I care. You know, well, if I really had my way, I'd have a big giant shop too. Because I fabricate. Man, you wouldn't believe how much wood I've been trying to get rid of it. I've been holding on to wood. I don't have a way to use it. I mean, I want to use it. I don't have a way to use it. Poor old fucking Strata need to put strings on it. I broke a D. Junk pedals. All them pedals. Junk. Junk. Vietnamese junk. Marshall ought to be slapped for fucking sending that shit to Vietnam. I finally got this piece of shit. I need to put the strings on it. Put the strings on it, brush the rust off. I thought I had some fine sandpaper. I can't find it. Jackie, you was sleeping? Teddy cat, what are you doing? Mr. Nosey's sleeping too, huh, Nosey? Nosey. Damn. Yep, the House of Squalor. Man, I ordered this off of Amazon. It's a Wilkinson, and it's And it's no different than what I'm trying to replace. I was trying to replace one on a fucking Chinese Strat. I got lucky. The last Strat I got off of Temu, its shipping weight was 9.28 pounds. And when I read that, after it was on its way, I didn't really know till it was on its way. And it said shipping weight 9.28 pounds. I was like, woohoo, a full-size, full-weight Stratocaster. And it is. It's not no affinity bullshit. It's a full-weight body. And it said, Diamond King had a vinyl sticker on it. But everything else has it says Fender on the back plate. Gold, Fender, but the plate's thin. It's not thick. And it's got some gold tuners. And everything on the neck. I was talking to the computer, and the computer said it was made at the Squire factory. I said, my guitar says Diamond King on it, but it says Fender on the plate. And they said that it's probably the computer said it's probably from the Squire factory. But not only did they send the guitar with the vinyl sticker on it that says Diamond King, they sent me a vinyl sticker or a watermark sticker that says Fender in the little bag that had the cord and the vibrato bar and the 2 Allen wrenches. I had a little sticker wrapped up in some paper with some tape around it, and I unwrapped it and looked, it's a Fender fucking decal or a water decal that says Fender. I'm not fixing to put Fender on that fucking guitar. It's not a Fender. It came from Temu. I'll be goddamn, I sand that motherfucker off. It's got the serial numbers and shit on the back of it like it's a Fender guitar. Made in California is what it says on the neck, and that shit, I don't believe that shit none. It looks just like it. This ain't no vinyl that's on the back of the neck. It's just like the real fucking necks are. So I don't know. But I'm not going to put that Fender sticker. I ought to go put it on my, look, I've got an no-name Explorer copy. I ought to put that Fender sticker on that no-name Explorer copy. Make a video and have the Strat sitting on one chair and the Explorer sitting on the other chair, and walk up to the Strat with the Fender sticker and then go no, and walk over to the Explorer copy and put it up there and go yeah. Yeah, I was happy to order that Explorer copy, but when I got it I wasn't happy because the goddamn frets are like uneven. One goes out far, one don't. You look down the side of it, it looks like crooked ass railroad tracks. The motherfuckers are not straight all the way down the neck. You go this way and that way and this way and that way. I thought, man, what happened is that somebody else had ordered that guitar and they sent it back. And then when I ordered one, they just sent me the one somebody sent back. About the only hope I could see for that Explorer copy is like, if you did sit down and try to file all the long frets back to try to match the others, you're still going to have to sand the side of the neck, the binding and everything. You're going to, and it would be great. Take the guitar up and sand down each side of the binding and make that neck thinner by taking some of the binding out. Because to cut some of those frets away, I'm going to have to get into the binding and to cut it. You know, or short of pulling the fret. See, I don't even want to do that. Pull all the frets out and try to replace them myself correctly. Man, I ain't never done a fret job I've never done a fret job. I'm not fixing to get started on doing something I don't have the skill to do. Like, oh yeah, I'm all about it. That's a fucking, be a fucking idiot. Fuck some shit up. Fuck some shit up like that, man. Think you're gonna work on something you don't know what the fuck you're doing. At least make sure ahead of time you got it all done in your head before you pull out the first tool. My dad used to tell me that, boy, if I catch you taking that shit apart and you don't know how to put it back together, I'll beat your ass. You fucking make sure you know what you're doing before you get started. I learned that a long time ago. Don't put my hands in something I don't know what I'm doing. Oh wow, Star Trek went off. Landrew, save me. And now it's Superman Old fucking Superman that I never saw. Yeah, man, it's fucking quiet, dude. I don't hear shit outside there. It's quiet. It was quiet at the store. I can't believe that 2 hours and 35 minutes ago I started this camera at the store. Yep. Look, check it out. Let's see. What is this? How the goddamn flower till you get over here? No, pickups don't matter. Some I haven't even opened. Some real pickups. All kinds of fucking pickups, man. I forgot I even had that. Shit. I got plenty enough to replace these fucking Gibson, these fucking fake ass guitars with some decent pickups. So I pulled the middle magnet out of this. It's two humbuckers, man. How many magnets does a humbucker need? Well, by my goddamn knowledge and my fucking experience. Look, the tape's coming off. Nope. Glue it back on with some Elmer's glue. It'll be there. See, it had a center magnet, 3 magnets. I took the center magnet out. Wax. I waxed it too. All my pickups. I don't put a pickup in a guitar that's not waxed. I always have since '81. The first time I ever waxed, I waxed the X2N. It was the first pickup I ever waxed. And I fucking don't care about no pickups unless they are waxed. I got these off Amazon. I've already waxed them and put them back together. Oh God, look how this house is a fucking dust house. You can't clean it. It's like a vacuum cleaner bag. It really is. I go in there and clean that kitchen, clean every bit of dust off, go to bed, get up the next day, there's dirt and dust all over cabinets. That's the way the house is built. It's got little tiny holes all over it. And pressures and flows. Yep. A small hole and pressure is either high or low. It fucking sucks in all kind of dirt. The house, when you go outside, it's not like the house is sitting on you know, like most houses, when you walk out of the house, the ground slopes away from the house, kind of slopes down away from the house. You need at least about a foot or two, man, to go away and down. Well, this don't. The backyard fucking slopes down to the back patio. Whole backyard's high, and it comes all the way down. When it rains real hard, it floods. Fucking all that water comes in on the back patio right towards the back door. As a matter of fact, the back patio is already cracked and floated, and water runs down one of the cracks, runs under the house, runs down the driveway, trying to go to the bottoms that are on the other side of that neighborhood there. That's a natural flow. The motherfuckers that built all these houses, it's a crew of 15-year-old kids, fucking all the helpers on the fucking crew. Bunch of kids. Greg and Pat and Wild Man and Chris Robinson. Them motherfuckers wasn't even, well, Greg's my age. Greg and Pat are my age. But a couple of them other motherfuckers, they weren't even as old as us. I asked me and Rodney if we wanted to work. Are we going to make $5 an hour? No. They're making $5 an hour. Oh, the fuck you think a 15-year-old can't fucking, if you are 15 years old, motherfucker, and you're goddamn making $5 an hour, what kind of experience you think you got more than somebody else that's 15 years old? You don't. Yeah. They tried to play me and Rodney for like $2 or something an hour. We told them fuck themselves. I'm glad I didn't have my hand on none of these houses. They all come out fucked off. Like I said, both neighbors on either side. Like this house, it's not showing it real bad. I can go up here. And show you though. That line. See that fucking line? All right, the neighbors to my left over here. He's had carpenters come in and fix his. He had that whole goddamn fucking was open in his house. Every time you open and close this front door, fucking poof, fucking insulation would come out. He always had a pile of insulation in his floor. And the house that's over on that side, they got the same goddamn problem. The jacks was busted open. This is just keeps showing a fucking crack. But whoever remodeled this house, the people they had come in and do all the remodeling were a bunch of crackheads. They put all that crown molding up. Look, see the putty all up above that crown molding? And right here, they didn't, the motherfuckers, they were not even really good trim carpenters whatsoever. That's a piece my brother took out. He thought he was going to fucking replace. He ain't no trim carpenter. He just works at a cabinet shop. And this right here, see that? All right. The mess you see that's been, somebody like Kelly went behind me. I had this motherfucker invisible at one time. And with that mess you see, that putty that's up there now, that's where Kelly came back after it had cracked open again. And that's where he got up there and made a fucking mess. I said, man, you didn't even work it in the crack. You just smeared the shit all over it, man. He's not a McIntyre. What you want, man? What? You a feral biting motherfucker? This motherfucker bites and draws blood when he bites. You a feral motherfucker. What? Let's see. He was 31 weeks old last Wednesday. This Wednesday he'll be 32 weeks old. He's gotten to where right at this age he loves me more. What you want? Huh? What? You talking? He's talking. Let me get him some food. Yeah, man, slowly but surely, every day I do a little more and a little more. All that shit right there, I'm fixing to, that stuff's Kelly's. It's been there. All that shit's been there, you know? And it serves no purpose. I get all this fucking wood out of here that I don't need. See, had it not been rainy all day, I might could have got out there and worked on that stump. Dug around it more and built a fire. I'm getting to the point where I've got that stump burned down enough, then I'm going to quit fucking with it. What are you doing, Jackie? Yeah, this is my living room is my workroom because I don't have a workroom. I don't have company. So I don't need to worry about having no kind of fancy Better Homes and Gardens showroom. But I'm going to end up moving the chairs over there where the amps are. I'm going to move all the amps and stuff. I got more amps, more cabinets in the back bedroom back there that I'm going to stack them all on this wall that's behind me where this couch sits. I'll probably drag the couch out back. Somebody gave us this couch way back. It's not even long enough for me to lay down on. I lay on it too long, my legs kill me because it's not long enough. I'll buy me one of those Temu couches and put right there where those chairs are. Get rid of a bunch of this shit in here. There's boxes in here, shit that don't even belong in here. They're just in here. Live in squalor. When I had organization, people wrecked it, so no use keep trying to keep up organization when motherfuckers gonna tend to goddamn come around and see how you organize. They're gonna fuck it all up like my brother. I could come up with an idea of what I want to do, and he acts like he's fucking jealous. I don't like it. Wee. He's narcissistic too. That's why I'm sitting over here by myself. I asked the universe to get me the fuck away from all these crazy motherfuckers, and it has delivered me from all the narcissistic. I fell into a trap about 6 months ago. I'll never fall into a trap like that again. I'll never put my faith in any kind of damn retard like that ever again. Potential for what? I mean, I don't know what direction I want to go in. I mean, I can't play guitar because there's a 10 million girls, little girls that are in 6th grade out there that smoke me on the guitar because my goddamn, I just don't practice like I should, like I used to. I was closer in the 90s doing something on guitar than I am now. I don't even play like I used to. I got so much rust. I am rusty. Rusty. Man, I went to the store a while ago. I had a jacket on. That's how fucking warm it is outside. That's fucking crazy, man. Christmas, and it was fucking 85 degrees the other day. I woke up the other morning, it was 70 degrees. That's fucking crazy. I think Sunday night after Christmas, yeah, it was today. It was last Sunday night. A front was coming in out of the northwest, and it was blowing in, and it was cold, man. And the next morning, when I went out to the mailbox, the next day I went out to the mailbox, later that evening, or that morning, after I thought the mail ran, and the way the weather was outside, it felt like Christmas. I said, now it feels like Christmas. This weather right here feels like Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was warm. That's not the first time in this fucking town I fucking had a Christmas like that. Never seen a white Christmas. I've seen snow spit on Christmas, but I've never seen it collect up. Maybe one time when we had Christmas on the 24th and went to my grandmother's up in Arkansas on the 25th. Left Christmas morning. We left, it was spitting snow here. I said, nah, we're leaving town, it's snowing. But it didn't, we called back, we found out it didn't do nothing but for a little while, about 2 hours, and didn't collect up or nothing. Got to my grandmother's, there was snow on the ground. It had been snowed and hadn't melted. So I got to see some of that in Arkansas. Yeah, there wasn't nothing to do, so I said, man, I'm going to roll this. When I roll to the store, I'm going to go ahead and go live. I hadn't gone live in a while. There wasn't nothing to go live about. I should be over here working on fucking guitars instead of fucking talking on with holding a phone in my fucking hand like an idiot. Yeah, I was talking to the computer. You ready for me to do? I said, no, I haven't got the first part yet. Wait till I buy some transformers. Then I'm going to ask you about the other parts. Hopefully I can build something that'll work like I like it to. And then I can get rid of that shit there. I'll sell it right back for $400 what I paid for it. It's just come in my house and sat right there the whole fucking time. I never even turned it up. I mean, I might have turned the master halfway, but I kept a gain low. I don't even play both amps. If we go over and look, my gains are on less than 3. I just don't like the fucking sound it makes. That fucking cheesy fucking distortion that the amp's got. Seeing that it has a lot to do with the fucking speaker. I don't have any good speakers. It's sitting on an MG cabinet. That right there is an MG cabinet with some Celestials in it, and they're fucking worthless. I wish I never bought it. I've got an MX cabinet down the hallway, and it's the newest, best sounding cabinet I got, but I just stuck it out of the way. I stuck it down there, the B52's down there, and a 212 cab I needed to get out of the way. I got a bass cabinet in the back bedroom, a bass amp in the back bedroom. And it's got a clipping speaker. But then there's a 215 Fender cabinet over there I acquired. They call it a silver face, but that motherfucker's yellow as hell, dirty. I guess I could try to clean it. I used to always think the Fenders look nice, that silver and blue looking, tweed look, blue, silver. They look cool. Yeah, when I bought that Bagheera head right there, I didn't think about you're going to need a cabinet. And I just thought I'd just stick it on any cabinet I got. And the first thing I did after I got it is I changed out the tubes that were in it because I didn't like how it sounded. It came with 5881s, but when you hold it up to the light, you can see they're relabeled 6L6s. And I put, what is it, C657s, I think is what it's called. C657 or 6C57 or something like that. 6C57s. EL34 replacement is what I put in it. I didn't put my box of tubes up. My new box of tubes. All the tubes I used to have got stolen with all my gear. God damn, I had some tubes. Fuck, they beat the fuck out of me when they got that beer box full. I collected tubes all my life. And Matt could bring his amp over here. If I had that other box, we could just roll tubes till it got it working. Hell, all the amps I ever had. I would roll tubes. I ended up always pulling tubes out of amps and putting them in my box and taking the old tubes out of my box and finding a spot that made it sound better and putting them in my amp. So my box basically had a whole bunch of new tubes in it. And when I worked Godsmack, those guys, when we worked that show, it was after lunch. I stopped by went up into the office at the Coliseum, and my boss says, "Hey, you're out there with those techs, aren't you? You going up to the stage?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Take them these boxes." It was a great big box, and then a small rectangular box, and they were from Meridian, Mississippi. And I went up on stage. I said, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas." He said, "What you got?" I said, "I got some Santa Claus from Meridian, Mississippi." And one of them techs said, "Oh, my tubes are here." That big box was full of power tubes. And all them guys, it was Godsmack, Cold, and Stain. And when we set the show, I was a deckhand. But when we run the show, I ran spot number 1. And when I brought them tubes up there, that dude was like, "Oh, man." I said, what is it?" I said, "Good, let's see what it is." He said, "It's tubes." He opened it up. That big box was full of power tubes. And then that rectangular box was full of preamp tubes. And they all said, "Peavy." I asked him, I said, "Man, why are you?" All those guys, they all had, all backstage. It's like when you go to the concert, there's the drums. Then right behind the drums, there's a drop. Well, behind the drop on deck, the show I worked, there was about another 16 foot of stage behind it. And on the back row, where the rail is, was where all the techs set up all their fucking work boxes along the back row. So like you could come up on the deck from behind, and there was a good 10, 12 feet in front of their tech boxes to the upstage curtain. Plenty of room to walk back and forth, work on amps, work on guitars. The whole backstage, the whole back of the stage was the work area. And I asked him, I said, "Man, why are you ordering PB?" And he told me, he said, "Look here." And he pulled one of them PB tubes out and held it up to the light and showed me they were rebranded. They were rebranded groove tubes. They said PB on them, but when you look real teeny, just barely faint, you could see what the other brand, I think they were groove tube. And PB just buys them from the same place everybody else gets their tubes from, put their name on them. My friend Sid ended up getting a fucking, he got they gave him one of the quartets, he gave it to me. And I had that in my tube box, a quartet that came out of one of their amps. The dude sat and matched up the quartet too. He went and took all his old bad tubes and you put them all on a machine and matched up a quartet and gave them to Sid. Sid gave them to me. I never got to put them in my amp, try them out. I just put them in my tube box with all my spare tubes. The fucking prick came along and stole my equipment. Got my tubes too. Damn. You know, sometimes they take that away from you. I said, "Well, we want you to try another avenue, Hadley. Don't go down this easy avenue you've already made for yourself. Try another one." One person. Saturday night, ain't a damn thing to do. Sitting here smoking one cigarette after another. It's gonna fucking make me sick. They were out of my brand for all week or more. Because it's not their cigarettes. The cigarettes belong to a distributor at that store. Those cigarettes those are the distributor cigarettes. They just sell them for the distributor. And they didn't have my brand, which is, I usually smoke these Crowns. And so I smoked Doral. Well, the thing I noticed when I smoked the Doral is, hell, I can smoke a Doral and smoke a Doral and smoke a Doral. I wasn't choking to death. I got back on these cigarettes again. These motherfuckers were making me, for the longest, when I first started smoking them, they weren't bad, but now they fucking choke the fuck out of me. I'm back on these again. I keep sitting smoking one after another. I'm going to end up fucking sick. Usually sit there and smoke all day and half the night and wonder why I got a headache. What are y'all doing? The dog and the cat are down there playing. What are you doing? Cat. Cat. See, he's going back and forth in the bedroom, fucking with the dog. He's in the hallway now. But he's running in the bedroom and fucking with the dog up in the bed and then coming back out in the hallway. He's trying to get that dog to chase him. And the dog won't do it. And he ran back in the bedroom now. At first, that cat didn't like neither one of the dogs, and neither one of them dogs liked that cat. But then now, at 31 weeks later, that fucking cat loves them dogs, man. He's done found out that that's my fucking family. And I've found him many times, like Jackie might lay on the couch and go to sleep, and that cat will come in here and get on the couch right beside him and lay beside him. Huh, Jackie? Kitty cat loves you. He's a good kitty. No, he's a bad kitty. No, he's a good kitty. He's a bad boy. No, he's a good boy, but he's a bad kitty. He's a good boy, but he's a bad kitty. Man, I'm sorry. I need to ask some of these people where you're from, man. I'm in Northwest Louisiana. I'm about 200 miles out of Dallas. I haven't been to Dallas in a while. That's a cool name, End Woke Insanity. I was calling you End Woke Sanity. It's Insanity. End Woke Insanity. Is woke even a word? Because I've heard of awaken or awoke. I was awakened by a loud noise. I've never heard of the word woke as being a word all by itself. I skipped English class every chance I got. It was boring as fuck. I didn't like it. Sit in the class and read every book and not do the schoolwork. I told that teacher too. I said, none of this interests me. I'm sorry. I know that's your job to teach English, but I just don't give a damn. When I didn't finish high school, I went and got a GED. The only thing I had problems with was a little bit of math. I said, you mean I passed my English? He said, yeah, no problem. I said, what about algebra? He says, you ain't got no problem. I said, I never had algebra in high school. He goes, well, how did you do it? I said, I went and found me, I know this girl in the next parish that's good at math, and I went down there and got her to tutor me before I come to you. And he said, well, you got it right. I just to go take my GED, I had problems with my long division, and then multiplication, addition, division, subtraction of decimal points and fractions. That's all I had to work on at night school, adult education class. I did it for 6 months. He gave me a workbook. This man that ran that class, they called him out of retirement. His name was Arlo Guthrie. That man was a lifelong educator. He's done been every grade, every subject. Coach, boys, coach, girls, first grade, second grade, kindergarten, third grade, whatever, man. English, reading, math, shop. He was a counselor. He was assistant principal. He was principal. He spent his whole educator's career. He was a professional educator. And they didn't have anybody to teach that class. And he was retired. They called him up out of retirement. And I got to know him on the job. I asked him where he lived. He said, I live on Missile Base Road. I said, well, I know where that's at. He said, you live right by the launch area. I said, you live around there by them people that got that black tour bus? He said, that's where I live. That is my tour bus. He played bluegrass in a bluegrass band. They had a big black tour bus parked at this old frame house. High old frame house, looked like 1800s. Single story, it wasn't a two-story. It was right there on one side of the launch area where that missile base used to be before they closed it down. It's a Nike Ajax base. They closed it down in late 60s, about 67, maybe 68. Army moved out. The base stayed there. The parish, or the LSU, Louisiana State University leased that place from the government for 100 years or something like that. Something in that lease that says they leased it for 100 years, but even when 100 years goes by, nothing changes. From what I understand. And there wasn't nothing underground. They done filled it all up. It's all been filled. Anything that is underground out there, which they had like, they could go from the barracks area on an elevator down into the ground, then they could go to the launch area, which is across the street from the barracks area. The barracks area had the 3 radar antennas and the radar gear and the launch gear and everything was at the base. And then there was a tunnel that went from the base area to the launch area and up under each of the launch, but it's all been filled in. You could go to the launch area and you go into each Alpha Bravo, Charlie Delta, Echo Foxtrot. And you could go down into the doors that went down into the ground, but when you got down in there, the bottom of the floor was full of dirt, or it was full of water. I think the main tunnel that went from the barracks is full of water. There's nothing down there anyway, just a tunnel in the ground. There's some kind of a flat car that would run down back and forth through that tunnel. It was like a Jeep, but it was real flat. Hey man, here it is, nighttime. Okay, all them people on Temu, they're waking up. Whenever we get dark here in the States, it's their daytime. So what I do is, like at night, I'll sit there on my phone, I'll put $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000 worth of guitars on my Temu. And then when it's my daytime, and I'll leave it on there until I go to buy something from Temu. And if I buy a guitar, which I have another guitar coming, what I'll do is, like, those people will get up in the morning and they'll look at their computers. Wow, I'm fixing to make $3,000. Wow, I'm fixing to make $5,000. Well, you just think you're fixing to make $5,000. I'll leave it on there until I buy something. And when I go to buy something, I'll take everything out of my shopping cart but what I'm going to buy. Then I'll do the same trick again. When they're awake, which is my nighttime, I'll sit up all night. I'll put guitars and whatever I want on my Temu. I'll put the same guitar from different places at different prices on my Temu, and then I'll go down the line. Whichever's the highest, I'll just throw it out of there. I'll make them think they're going to make a sale. And then when it's my daytime, it's their nighttime. That's when you pull all the shit off. And then when they wake up and they look at their computers, where'd my money go? Though I have got lucky. People always put those guitars down. Shit. Like I said, I went all around town. I was going to buy a Les Paul one time. I never found nothing I fucking goddamn would even want to fucking be proud to own. Gibson's never afforded me a damn thing. Never. Nothing. I've had two Gibsons in my whole life. I had a used Melody Maker, a black double cutaway, and somebody taught me into selling it. I wish I'd never sold it. I think they knew that it was of value, and that's why they taught me into selling it. They just wanted to get it out of my hands. I had a SG Crescent Moon. They stole my Crescent Moon. They stole my Fender Telecaster. They had a pink Paisley Telly. Fucking sounded awesome. Plugged into my Marshall. Sounded just like the first Zeppelin album. Plugged into the Marshall. Straight up plugged into the Marshall. You could play Zeppelin on that Telecaster. It sounded just like it. And it was a 97 Fender custom shop from Japan. Bastard son. Beside two guitars that were like limited runs. Finally, you know, when you buy a guitar, you can just buy any guitar. But if you buy something that's kind of, they only made so many, then you do kind of have an investment. And see, both them guitars, when they stole them guitars were brand new, man. They've been, man, had 30 hours on them. You know, I never pulled them out. I always kept them locked up for when I was going to goddamn be in a band and get on deck and make some fucking money. That's why. My dad was that. Something he told me before he died, son, buy some real equipment and play some good music. Don't be playing none of that stage clown rock star bullshit. Play something that's good. And that's why they buy you some good amps and some good guitars and some keyboards, son, and make some good music. All that screaming, holler bullshit, fuck that. And that's how I am. I'm fucking sick and tired of it. I don't even want to be labeled heavy metal. They can't sing. Shit. Motherfuckers can't sing. And motherfuckers that can't sing need to realize you can't sing. Quit, motherfucker. You suck. Some people just don't know their place. They're not smart enough to know their place and stay in it. Always ready to try to tell somebody else they're not. But you want to be man Karens. Man, I miss Glenn Fricker. Well, I used to stay on his page, man. He always did those mixes, and I like to listen. Man, I loved going to Glenn's live mixes. It was always cool because it's like, hey, he's going to be the guy. He's playing your song. You send him your song. He's playing it on his show, listening to it, telling you what you might could do to improve your recordings. The whole goddamn time he ever had a show. You could sit there and listen to everybody's cool new music. Man, it was awesome. And then ever since Julie had her stroke, he's been having to change his plans of what he used to do to try to make things better for her. And he hasn't been able to put out too many metal mixes anymore. So that means that there's a lot of bands out there that are making songs, making, music, and we're not getting to hear it. Not like through him, It was always cool. And everybody in the chat, like if somebody did pop up and act like an idiot, he'd just get rid of them altogether. Nobody in his chat, we all was cool. I didn't, well, as a matter of fact, way back when I used to always follow him, he didn't have no moderators. He didn't make me no moderator, but he knows who I am because you go back and watch his videos. He said hi Hadley more than once in some of his videos. He knows who I am. He's never seen me because I don't try not to show my face. But we've through comments and through live, I've said things that, Glenn is good. Glenn has the potential to really be a producer too. Not only does he went to school to engineer and he knows what he likes and what he uses in his studio, he knows how to work it. He knows how, he's been around all the pros and been around and learned, you learn in school. I didn't go to audio school. He did. And he has a potential. He wants to be a producer. That's what I see. And he really could be a producer too. But the thing about it is who's the pro that's going to come in the studio and work with the producer? Because when the producer says, I need you to do that, that producer don't need to hear, well, I'm a rock star. I'm a professional. That's not under my sound. There's I'm somebody. No, you ain't going to be shit. You ain't going to be fucking shit. You ain't a professional. I could work with Glenn. I've worked with people before. Play me something. And I played it. Hold on, let me put the microphone on. Now play something that go along with it. I did just what he said. Now play something that'll go along with that. The producer's going to sit there and say, no, that don't sound good. Play something different. Make something else up. Then when you do make something different, he's going to tell you, oh, yeah, that right there. Yeah. Do something else, And you need to go along with that producer. He's trying to make you fucking happen, You sit there and go against him. Mama. Fuck that. You're not a professional. You're wasting his time too. I've told Glenn before, I said, man, you need to have a raffle or a contest to where spend the week as Glenn's intern. Now, I told Glenn, I said, man, what would help Glenn's channel, really, and Glenn Fricker, I wish you were listening and would heed the word. What would help Glenn's channel is if he brought a band in and started putting out live mixes where he takes this band in a studio. all right, the singer's here tonight. We're going to lay vocal tracks. Or this morning. It's better to get the singer in the morning. Better when they wake up and their voice is strong than in the evening. Because, you know, some singers, unless they're just purists, they may smoke, you know, and if you smoke all day and you're going to go lay vocal tracks at night, you're not going to be, you better hydrate up, buddy. You know, the singer better know to hydrate. But I found that I can wake up in the morning sometimes if I don't feel bad and my voice is strong and I can hold. But late in the night, like 2 in the morning, like right now, it's almost 12. 2 in the morning, I can go in here on this microphone. I better drink a whole lot of water if I plan on holding any notes playing karaoke in this motherfucker. Because I smoke. I'm not a vocalist. I can carry a tune and I can sing backup, but I'm not a lead vocalist. I got a drum set, but I'm not a drummer. I can play the drums, but I'm not a drummer. I don't have any keyboards. Motherfuckers rip me off for all my keyboards. That pisses me off because I miss my keyboards. I like synthesizers. I like organs. I like pianos. I like MIDI. I like how you can split and double a keyboard and have 2 over here and 2 over there, and then you got 3 or 4 keyboards all MIDI'd up together. Now you got about 9 instruments at once. I love that shit. I'm not a pianist. I like playing piano and drums, but I'm not a drummer. I'm not a pianist. I'm a guitar player. I've been playing guitar since I was 9. That's my forte. Yeah, Glenn has the potential to be he has the potential to be a producer. It's just that what kind of musician is going to be a professional and go work with him and do everything he says, you know? Less is more. You can sit there and record, like, let's just say, okay, a lot of people, they like to make 5-minute songs and 10 opuses. And like Gene Simmons told me, quit trying to write an opus, Hadley. Write something, keep it simple. I said, yeah, keep it simple, stupid. He looked at me kind of funny. Paul didn't like what I said. I don't give a fuck. Fuck Paul Stanley. He was an asshole from day one I met him. He was a dick. And I admire his work ethics, but his personality sucks. Gene was way cooler towards me than Paul Stanley. And I met Bruce Kulick when he played in Blackjack. We talked about that too when I met him. Anyway, yeah, Gene said, quit trying to write an opus. So, okay, here's the deal. Hadley knows from experience. You like them 5-minute songs, huh? You gonna go in your bedroom and you gonna record for 5 minutes? When you play it back, it sounds like shit. It's bunk, trash, junk, garbage. It's hard to do, too. Fucking 5 minutes of fucking constant on time and everything and not mess it up. If you slow it down some, man. It comes from experience of working with tape. You let that tape roll and you try to put it less is more. You try to let some tape roll. You fill it in, you're gonna leave gaps. Try not to be a constant barrage. Play with finesse, you know, and not sloppy. And don't be in such a fucking hurry. Because I played both ways. I tried to record something I thought I was going to be heavy and heavy metal, and on playback, man, all that shit sounds like crap, man. It's just, fuck. It just don't sound good. But when you play with some finesse and you leave gaps, and then you've got opportunities to come back in with your second guitar track or your third guitar track and fill in different things in those gaps on the playback, it sounds fucking awesome. It sounds like something you can listen. Wow, well, listen, what's going on here? Yeah, you can actually hear the shit going on instead of. That's what made me change my mind about being associated with heavy metal. I mean, don't get me wrong. Fuck, it was guys like me and Dime invented that shit in our bedroom. That shit you hear nowadays, go, 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 go. We did that shit in our bedroom when we were kids. That's how come you got it nowadays. But there's fucking more better music than that. And take your Pink Floyd, for example. Like, hell, I liked Uma Guma. And I liked La Bella. And I liked Wish You Were Here and Metal. My favorite was Umaguma because it was my world geography teacher when I was in high school. He used to skip his class till I got in trouble, man. I had to go to his class. He told me, look, if you'll just participate, you'll pass with a C. Hell, every time I fucking tried to goddamn even do better than a C, that motherfucker wouldn't give me more than a C. But his name is Bob Trudeau. He's a world-renowned author. He's Mardi Gras historian and blah, blah, blah. Well, he told me one day after I had to come to his class, I was wearing a Pink Floyd t-shirt one day to school, and when I come in his classroom, he said, I saw Pink Floyd when I was in college. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, it was on the Umaguma tour. And I started, he fucking hit it off with me when he said that, because I loved Umaguma, because it was a quadraphonic idea to begin with. Just though the tape I had was released in stereo, but there were quadraphonic versions. And he told me at the concert they had 4 stacks of speakers, and two in the back and 2 in the front, stacked up, and 2 at the back of the house and 2 on the side of the stage. So they were doing that tour in quadraphonic. That would have been awesome, man, to hear that shit flying across your through there. You close your eyes and you can almost just see the sound. I think that's cool. Every house has a goddamn surround system in it. Nobody makes music like that. Or how about Dark Side of the Moon? The lit side of the moon. Like some of those songs, man, in quadraphonic. Bing, bong, boom, bing, flying all around. I had a friend in high school. His name was Danny Duper. He was French. As a matter of fact, I went to go visit him once. So he lives out in Greenwood, which is Keithville's in the country, and Greenwood's on the west side of town. It's like Keithville. It's not in Shreveport city limits. And he lives like, I can leave here and hit that highway down by that store and go towards Texas and then swing back over and back around in Greenwood. And before I even get to Greenwood, I get where his house was. And in the summertime, when we weren't in school, I drove by there one day. He had some like 4 girls that were his cousins that were staying there. They got a swimming pool at his house. His mom had a swimming pool and everything. He stayed with his mom. He didn't have a dad. Or his dad wasn't. I never met his dad. Anyway, his mom was divorced. Them girls were from France. I used to that being last name Dupree. I never realized, I knew it was a French name, but I never realized he'd have relatives. And all 4 of them girls, man, they could not speak a bit of English. That was a trip, man. I think I was in the 10th grade. I'm over there, and them girls are boo blah 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 blah. They talking about me, and I don't know what the fuck they're saying. And Danny said he couldn't understand them either. Oh my God. Yeah, but Danny had a cousin who lived down the road. He lived in a trailer. And like when me and Danny were in high school, his cousin was 27, and he had the bad stereo in his trailer, badass receiver back in the day from the 70s, component systems, and the badass Hitachi speakers. And a pretty big trailer, big open kitchen. It kind of opened up into the living room. And he had one speaker was in the kitchen on that end of the trailer, and his other speaker was all the way across the living room to that wall. So between the whole big living room and the whole big kitchen, the stereo was like, that speaker was on that side of the room, the long ways, and the other speaker was on this side of the room, long ways. And when you stood out there in the middle, man, and you set that balance to where it's like, it wasn't no more left and right. It's like you were inside it. Like when normally people listen to the stereo in their car, left and right, left ear, right ear. But if you'll take those 2 left and rights, you'll put them to front to back, put the left in the front, the right in the back. When you adjust that balance to where it's right there where your head is, dude, it's like you're right there on stage. It's like you're right there with the rest of the band, standing out there, like listen to Kiss Alive 2 like that, and roll the balance to where it's just perfect. Just like you're right there on the deck with them. To me, it sounds way better. Stereo sounds way better front to back than it does left and right. And in Kiss Alive 2, there's not a lot of stereo panning going on in that mix. So it's like when you turn that balance just right, man, because you're going to hear guitar on either side. You're going to hear Gene on his side more, but you're still going to hear Paul and Ace on that side. They're not going to be as loud as they would be on the other channel. for a while, I ran around in a Nova like that with 4 speakers in the back and 2 speakers in the front, and left and right. It sounded awesome. Later on, I switched it over to stereo. And I remember all these years, every time I think about it, I was like, man, why did I ever switch that? That sounded better. Listen to Pink Floyd front to back than it did left and right. Another band I liked back then when I was in high school too, I had Alan Parsons' I, Robot. I liked that album. That guitar player is badass too. He's like commanding and to the point. He puts his parts in right where he needs, where they are, what they got to be. A very good, tasteful. I was always happy with it. You know, some of those songs I wasn't all crazy about, but that one album had a lot out of all the Alan Parsons. That one I, Robot was like, to me, that's their best because it's got all the weird shit in it. I mean, I have Pyramid. A couple of those songs off Pyramid were pretty good. Kind of, sort of. And that one time I went to a pawn shop when I was a stagehand. I went by a pawn shop and I bought all these used tapes. And I had damn near the whole Alan Parsons collection. And I listened to some of their other albums and I didn't like them. I went right back to the ones I liked. The Best of Alan Parsons Project's a pretty good tape. See, in my record collection, right next to Pink Floyd was Alan Parsons. I'm trying to think, then like Todd Rundgren was by them too. And King Crimson was by them. By Pink Floyd and by Alan Parsons. I'm trying to think of who else was like that. That I had back in the day. Razzmatazz? No. I don't even remember hardly. That was an 8-track that I had somebody made. I'm trying to think, man. Like when I was in high school, man, that's all we had was 70s rock. You know? My friend always makes fun of all them old bands when I mention those bands like that. Oh, they were bunk. I said, Greg, that's all we fucking had. What do you mean they were bunk? Yeah, that's all we had. Well, that's all we had was bunk. And you got to realize that they listen to guitar players like we listen to them. And everybody that you got out there that plays guitar, they listen to somebody. That's the reason why they picked up the guitar. It's like my friend's dad, Greg's stepdaddy, not Elvis, but John Lewis. He said, you ain't never gonna make it if you're playing somebody else's music. I said, well, that's not a true statement. I said, because if you think you're going to go down to one of them clubs or bars or lounges downtown and you want to play music and make some money, 9 times out of 10, that bar owner is going to tell you, I want to hear what's on the jukebox. Because if you don't play what's on the jukebox, man, my customers are going to leave. Because when they come in here and drink, they play the jukebox. They play all them songs on the jukebox. If you can't play what's on the jukebox, man, you're not going to do good. They want to hear what's on jukebox in my club. I said, so John Lewis is not right. You playing somebody else's music. You can make some money. And I told him, I said, okay, on top of that, I said, John Lewis, everybody that plays guitar, they heard somebody else play guitar and it fascinated them to the point that they wanted to learn. Now, if you found somebody you liked that was a guitar player and you decided you was going to learn to play like them, you might get lucky and learn how to play like them, and you'll be happy. I said, but then again, you may never play like them, but you may learn how to play. You may find somebody else along the ways. I said, and another thing about it is you can take somebody else's song, and as long as you play it as good as they did it, or better, you can always make good with it. Because I've been in clubs before where people were screaming this, that, or the other. And when the band played it, the people even made the statement. That's the only reason why I come down here to see y'all, because y'all play that song. I like how y'all play that song. Y'all make that song sound good. That's the only reason why I come see y'all, for that one song. So see what I'm saying? That one fucking song may be a reason why you got somebody coming to see your band. And if, like I said, if you can play it like as good as the original or better, you can always be known for it. People is taking other people's songs and put them back in the top 40. I don't know if they were all the way number 1, but it's been done. You Keep Me Hanging On. Quite a few people have done that song. That's one. Dancing in the Streets by Van Halen. Van Halen didn't write that song. Somebody else wrote that. That's just like me playing April Wine or 21st Century Schizoid Man in Frankenstein. Well, Ozzy went and put 21st Century Schizoid Man on his album 5 years later. And Zach put Frankenstein on his album 3 years later after I did that. Ozzy told me, he said, "You're an inspiration." Asked me about playing. I told him, "Hell, no, sir." I said, I said, that Randy Rhoads and all that. I said, "You got so much recorded by Zach Wild right now, and all that Randy Rhoads, I can't play that. It'd take me 30 days to learn some of that shit. I still don't even think it don't fascinate me all that much. Zach don't. So, I mean, to learn his stuff, I guess I might could. It'd take me 30 days. I said, the Black Sabbath, I could just, and Miss Sharon talking about, how about 3 days? It took Jake 3 days. I said, look, it's like this. I don't have any experience playing in a band. I've been in a couple bands in my life and played a few gigs. As far as I don't have experience on stage. The guy you got, I told Ozzy, I said, the guy you got hired right now is worth every penny you're paying him. Whatever he says, I want to be paid this, he's worth every penny. Because think about how many hours that guy's got on stage in front of crowds, smoking a fucking guitar. He can do the work. I can't do that for you. What I do right now, how I set up all that equipment for you, I said, I got it knocked out. That's how I got to play the guitar, because I knocked that shit out early. I said, that's my spot. I'm better for you helping set this gig up. This is what I pretty much have spent a lot of my life and learn. I can do this. I'm better off working for you, just what I'm doing. Staying right in knowing my place and staying in it. I said, I looked at Miss Sharon, she said, "Hey, 30 days, how about 3? I said, Miss Sharon, it's better that I go ahead and just say no and be honest with y'all instead of bullshit. She said something about that too. She said, "Oh yeah, for real about that." I said, instead of bullshit you and tell you, "Yeah, I'm your guy. Yeah, I'm the one to come play for you. Yeah, I'm all about it." Somebody else would fucking bullshit their way right on into that mix. Fuck that. That was bullshit. I would not do that. Hell no. You get your ass caught with your pants thrown down and fucked in your ass too. Do some professional like that and tell him you're all about it when you're not. You're a lying motherfucker. You be a lying motherfucker. And I tell you what, Kelly Osbourne is a sweetheart, man. Every time I ever talk to her, she is cool as shit, man. She is a sweetheart. That guy that married her, he's a lucky motherfucker to have a girl like that. Shit, I got along with her every time we talked. I mean, we talked about anything. She's down to earth, a cool person, man. Now, Jack, that was a different story. Me and Steve was fucking with Jack. Like once everything was set, man, there wasn't a lot to do, Walk around, ask somebody, "Hey, man, you need some help?" "No, I'm good." Go out back and smoke a cigarette, walk around. Well, we're at the Starplex, man, and there's like a bunch of dressing rooms out back off along the back side of the deck, the loading dock, and our area out back off the loading dock, and it's all fenced in. Ain't nobody gonna get in without a pass in that area. And me and Steve are walking around. And Steve's like, there's Jack. So we walked down one way and we went and hid around the side where he couldn't see us. And then I fucking reached my head around and I'd holler, "Jack Sabbath!" And then we'd hide real quick. Then I'd peek around the corner. I'd get down real low and I'd barely peek around the corner. And I told Steve one time after I hollered Jack Sabbath, and then I waited, and then I peeked down real low around the corner. I said, "He's coming." So we took off running. We ran down around and around the corner again, and the next corner, so that when he got down to where we hollered from, we wasn't there. And I was peeking around the other corner on down there too. "Here he comes, man." We run. We did that to him like all day long. We fucked with him about 4 or 5 times. We'd be in one spot, and you could see him over at a distance, And I'd holler out, Jack Sabbath! And then I'd hide real quick. Where when he turned his head to look, he would never see me. I would be and Steve fucked with him all day long. We did it several times, and we'd fucking holler it and run. Like we'd holler it, we'd be around the corner already, and I'd stick my head around the corner and put my hands up by my mouth and holler Jack Sabbath in his direction, real loud, like a fucking crazy Keithville motherfucker out here in Keithville where I grew up. And then I'd hide, but I'd duck back around the corner real quick so that when he turned his head, he wouldn't see nobody. Every time we did it, he'd turn his head, there wouldn't be nobody there. We were ninja-tizing him. I would have never been fucked with him if he had never fucked with me to begin with. I think it was 2002. He had some kind of, this dude looked like a Hell's Angel. He was real big. He wasn't tall as me. He was about as tall as Jack. But he was real big around the shoulders and his chest. But from his chest and down his stomach and his waist, he was big. But it went down real long. And then where his pelvis was, his legs were real short. You know, he didn't have long legs. So he was kind of like, if I had to run from him, he wasn't going to catch me. Yeah. But he was walking around with Jack. And when Jack would act like a little prick to somebody, that little Harley, whatever, Hell's Angel guy would, I guess that was Jack's personal bodyguard. He'd all eyeball up and bow up and shit. And I looked him in his eyes and I told him, if you think you can, go ahead without saying a word. I've looked many of them motherfuckers that looked at me crazy. I look them right in the eye and I go inside my head. I tell them, go ahead. You think you can? You feel lucky? Go ahead. I dare you. I bet you don't. I bet you won't. Yeah, that's what I thought. You better not. Jack's got 2 children now. Kelly's got a girl. That's like 22 years ago, man. How old was that guy then? He was like a 17, 18-year-old kid or something, man. 22 years ago? I remember Chris, hey, you want to meet Ozzy? I was like, man, I'm crew. I can't be fucking around with Cass. Man, I just got through talking to him and Miss Sharon. He just got off the bus. He just woke up. He's all up and feeling good. He wanted to talk. They asked me who that guy was. I told them that's my friend from home. And we'll meet him. And when I got over there, the first thing was, oh, I've seen him all day long. Yeah, every time I passed her, I was just smiling, saying, hello, Miss Sharon. I was just, hi, Miss Sharon. Just so fucking happy to be part of that. Who would have ever thought, man? God damn, who would have ever thought? When you work for people like that, man, you better be all about it and not goddamn fucking bullshitting. Shit. Put them at a fucking jeopardy. Put them in jeopardy with your fakeness. Fuck that. Put somebody in jeopardy with your fakeness. That's like flying an airplane. I'll be goddamn if I want a motherfucker being my co-pilot cockpit cooperation. You fucking hard-headed son of a bitch. You end up getting us both fucking killed. You non-professional son of a bitch. Can't expect a motherfucker to do right. Fuck that. Get the fuck on. You're out of here. Yeah, there's some of them crazy motherfuckers like my brother. I will never let that motherfucker in the cockpit. He might can ride in the back. I would never let that motherfucker be in the other controls. Hell no. Nope. Because he's an imbecilic motherfucker. I always want to go against somebody. Well, fuck you. You'll get us killed, you damn dumb son of a bitch. I'll never take him flying. I told him too. He acted like a fucking moron to me one time. I said, I tell you what, man, I will never take you flying an airplane with me. You will never fly a cockpit with me, motherfucker. You might ride in the back if you're lucky. Buy some gas. Fuck. Look, it's blue. Man, I ain't fucking with that dude no more. Fuck him. I don't need him building an amp. I could never get an answer out of him every time I asked him a question anyway. And anything he ever did say to me, you don't know what you're talking about. Fuck him. I can read a fucking schematic. And I can wire the motherfucker together too. That's just it. I seen all his amps, all them pictures of them amps he made. I want to plug into every one of them. Damn, I want to plug into them and try them out, man, and find out which one I like. Fuck. And you need to show them. No, you need to do like them other motherfuckers. Come up with something that somebody wants and goddamn sell it to that one same company all them other motherfuckers did the same fucking thing the other motherfuckers did. Sell his design to be made. Sell it to that company that bought all them other motherfuckers' designs that has the shit made in China. Them guys didn't want to sit off in their garage and have to build them fucking amps to make that kind of money. Now all they got to do is go back to the life they live and get a check every month. Now who's the idiot? And besides, with the mass production, it allows everybody to have one. Whereas if that motherfucker's got to go out in his garage and build one, can't everybody goddamn across America have one in their household? I've been seeing some amps lately. I've never even heard of these motherfuckers. There's a lot of people out there making tube amps. All these goddamn new names I've never seen. I've never even heard of. And I guess because I don't make that kind of money. Man, when I was a goddamn remote. That's why I hate this TV. The remote sucks. Look at that, boy. Modern day, 2025 antenna TV. Boy, we got some good reception here. Shit, can't even make the motherfucking picture come in clear. Who is this? Not one I'm gonna watch. Yeah, I just had it on earlier. On Saturdays, I watch MeTV because of Svengoolie. And sometimes it's a good movie. Though they don't show all of the ones that I've seen before. And then after Svengoolie, sometimes it's Star Trek. And that's the only reason why I watch MeTV on Saturday nights, to see Star Trek. It was, are you of the body? Landru, save us, Landru, save us. It's a pretty good one. Damn, man. MeTV was coming in better than this shit. I got my antenna pointed right to where the damn towers are. North of town. They fucking don't come in. I like the props on that Lost in Space TV show. All the miniatures. I think it's cool. When I was 12 years old, I wanted to go to work for Industrial Light and Magic. I played guitar and was doing model when I was a magician. And kind of like, I practiced magic from the time I was like 10 till I really started learning scales on the guitar. I kind of put the magic down all the way and just quit fucking with it and spent more time on guitar. I signed the magician's oath when I was 10 years old. I was fascinated, which is called illusionettes. A friend of mine that I worked with in the stagehands, well, he wasn't a card holder, but he worked with us. He was a lighting guy. He did lighting, and he was a magician. He did magic, except he liked Houdini and escape tricks where you escape, straight jacket, and the torture Chinese water chamber, and all that trunk escapes and mailbag escapes. And yeah, I studied all that when I was into magic. And he asked me, what kind of magic did you like? And I described it. He said, oh, you like illusionettes. And I said, well, what is illusionettes? He said, exactly what you described. And I told him, I said, Jeff,